Chapter 551. Huan Lu, who received the order, was slightly startled. He immediately turned to Goyu and said in a resolute tone, "Young master, don't worry. I will return to the palace as fast as I can to get reinforcements to save you." "Then what are you waiting for? Go. Go back as fast as you can, it hurts so much, it hurts so much." Goyu roared crazily, his face full of malevolence, "Just you wait, just you wait. When the people of the Goyu family arrive, you're all dead. All of you will die, make him shut up." Xing Hui said to Su Shanshan. "Yes, senior." Su Shanshan stepped forward, a trace of madness burning in her eyes. She was naturally very happy to do this kind of thing. "Stop, stop. I won't speak, I won't speak." A wise man knew when to retreat. When he saw Su Shanshan come over, even if the resentment in Goyu's heart wanted to break through the sky and tear the clouds apart, he didn't dare to show the slightest bit of it. Especially when Su Shanshan stabbed him again, the pain stimulated him again and made him faint. "Arrange a room for me." Xing Hui ignored Goyu and only said to the shopkeeper. However, a moment later, he seemed to have thought of something and turned to Su Shanshan, "With your Su family's financial resources, buying this restaurant should be a small matter. Use some money to buy the restaurant and send them away." "Yes. Su Rong, give them the money and buy the restaurant. Also, you guys go back first and tell the family not to worry about me," Su Shanshan said to one of the Su family members who was trembling in fear in the corner. "Yes, second sister." Su Rong looked at Xing Hui with fear, then took out some money and handed it to the shopkeeper. The shopkeeper thanked her profusely and didn't even bother to pack up his various daily necessities. He quickly ran out with a few servants and disappeared from the street. "Second sister, if you do this, you will kill our Su family. If they really take revenge, our Su family will be finished." A Su family member mustered up his courage and said to Su Shanshan. "If I don't do that, then you tell me what I should do. Just because he's a member of the Go family, do I have to be humiliated and played by him in front of everyone? And all of you are just watching from the side, not daring to move at all." Su Shanshan's eyes were red as she glared at the Su family member who spoke. Her face was full of anger. Xing Hui glanced at Su Shanshan. At this time, her mental state was obviously not normal, but he was too lazy to correct her. This matter was just a coincidence to him, and helping Su Shanshan was just a convenient thing to do. However, this did not mean that from now on, he would be a good person to Su Shanshan. Not only would he be her spiritual mentor to help her resolve the knot in her heart, but he would also be the bodyguard of the entire Su family to protect them from harm. I'd better inform the patriarch first." The Su family member responded and quickly ran out with the heavily injured Si along with Su Rong and the others. Soon, only Ling Ling and Su Shanshan were left in the room. "Why aren't you leaving? Aren't you also afraid of bringing trouble to your Burning Sky sect? The Purple Firmament Palace is the main sect of your Burning Sky sect, and the Go family is a big family of the Purple Firmament Palace. Aren't you afraid that this matter will bring disaster to your Burning Sky sect?" Su Shanshan stared at Ling Ling and said in a mocking tone. Ling Ling shook her head and her gaze fell on Xing Hui. After hesitating for a moment, she stepped forward and bowed respectfully. "Excuse me. Senior, are you Elder Dongyang?" "N?" Xing Hui's gaze fell on the woman and couldn't help but be a little surprised. There was actually someone on the Fortune mainland who recognized him. But a moment later, Huang Xiaolong thought of something else. He had taken away the Fortune mainland's Fortune Divine Jade, so the entire Fortune mainland would definitely search for him. Therefore, it was reasonable for this Burning Sky sect's disciple to recognize him. Since you're a disciple of the Burning Sky sect, you should have some understanding of the changes in the Burning Sky sect during this period, right? Tell me everything that happened in the past few years after I left the Great Sun Divine Palace. You're really Elder Dongyang? Ling Ling's eyes widened. A moment later, she seemed to realize that she had lost her voice and hurriedly lowered her voice. "Elder Dongyang, you should leave quickly. Currently, the 6 supreme sects have jointly issued an arrest warrant for you. Once you're recognized, I'm afraid the 6 supreme sects experts will rush over and force you to hand over the fortune divine jade you took away. At that time, it doesn't matter. I've been sitting here waiting for them. Since I dared to appear, it proves that I have the courage to face them. But those are the 6 supreme sects. Ah. Ling Ling's heart trembled slightly. So what if they're the 6 supreme sects? Xing Hui said calmly. With his current strength, it was no exaggeration to say that he could sweep across the Fortune mainland. Tell me what happened during this period. Yes, Ling Ling looked at Xing Hui's confident words. Even though she didn't know where his confidence came from, she didn't dare to disobey his orders. After all, he was the only person in the history of their Burning Sky sect who had entered the top 3 of the Fortune Grand Assembly. Ever since Elder and the Fortune Mainland's Fortune Divine Jade mysteriously disappeared, our Fortune Mainland fell into internal strife for a long time. The Purple Firmament Palace, Great Sun Divine Palace, Netherworld Sect, Three Clear Sect, Heavenly Court, and Primordial Sect, these 6 supreme sects couldn't come to an agreement, and they immediately attacked each other. Moreover, the scale of this war continued to expand in the following year. It is said that in a short year, more than a dozen Saint Realm Elders and Grand Elders fell. Due to the great losses, the 6 supreme sects calmed down a little. Even though an all-out war has yet to break out, the relationship between the 6 supreme sects is no longer as calm and friendly as it was in the past. It is not uncommon for disciples to fight each other over a disagreement, and even kill each other. Once this kind of thing happens, it is bound to attract the intervention of Saint Realm Elders. Therefore, from time to time, there are still news of true element boundary, transformative boundary, and even unending boundary Grand Elders falling. Ling Ling's eyes revealed a trace of fear as she said this. Have they started fighting? Xing Hui nodded when he heard this. This scene was within his expectations. Our Burning Sky sect has been invaded several times during this period and searched several times. Even though those people know that our Burning Sky sect is just a fish in a pond, there are still many experts who barged into our Burning Sky sect in anger. They even injured our Burning Sky sect's people. Among them, Elder Yuan Xian was seriously injured because he talked back to an unending boundary expert. He died. Xing Hui couldn't help but frown when he heard this. He had guessed that the Burning Sky sect would be affected after he left with the Fortune Divine Jade. However, anyone with a discerning eye could see that he had only joined the Burning Sky sect because of the Purple Firmament Palace. Logically speaking, these people shouldn't pursue the Burning Sky sect's responsibility, but who would have thought, they still brought so much trouble to the Burning Sky sect. Who did it? It was the Three Clear Sect's Grand Elder, Daoist Divine Breath. The Three Clear Sect. Xing Hui was the main culprit who had caused the Three Clear Sect to miss out on the number 1 position. It was reasonable for the Three Clear Sect to hate all forces related to him. As he thought about this, Xing Hui lightly knocked on the table and said indifferently, "Then, I can give your Burning Sky sect a chance to make up for it. Go to the Burning Sky sect now and ask Sect Master Heartcliff to bring people to Clear Cloud City to stand with me in the face of the 6 supreme sections. If she comes, I can promise your Burning Sky sect a vast future. In the future, it won't be an extravagant hope for your Burning Sky sect to become the ruler of the Fortune Mainland. If she doesn't come, I've already given you a chance. If you don't want to seize it, then don't blame me. You want our Burning Sky sect to come to Clear Cloud City to face the 6 supreme sects together with you?" Ling Ling's face turned pale. In front of the 6 supreme sects, the Burning Sky sect would definitely be crushed to pieces without any ability to fight back. Alright, just pass on the message. The choice is in your hands. Whether the Burning Sky sect comes or not will depend on Sect Master Heartcliff's courage. Xing Hui said calmly. Even though Ling Ling felt that Xing Hui's words were ridiculous and would bring disaster to the entire Burning Sky sect, she naturally couldn't refuse in front of Xing Hui. She could only answer in a trembling voice, "Yes, I will definitely pass on the message. Go." Just like the Purple Firmament Palace's Go family, I will wait for them for a day. If they want to make a decision after a day, it will be too late. Yes. Ling Ling suppressed the slight trembling in her voice and quickly left after acknowledging the order. Not long after Ling Ling left, a group of people walked over from outside the street. The person in the lead was the palace master of Clear Cloud City's Purple Firmament Palace, Dao Master Zi Yuan. This person could be considered an acquaintance. He was the first person Xing Hui came into contact with in the Fortune mainland. However, when Dao Master Zi Yuan saw Xing Hui, his expression changed and he turned to leave without hesitation. Xing Hui's outstanding battle achievements in the Fortune mainland Grand Banquet had already been announced to everyone. Even a transcendent realm expert might not be able to suppress him. How could a mere blue netherworld realm cultivator like Zi Yuan be his opponent? However, before he could leave, Xing Hui spoke, Dao Master Zi Yuan, since you're here, why don't you take a seat? Why are you in such a hurry to leave? Dong Yang. Elder Dong Yang, Zi Yuan looked at Xing Hui with an awkward expression. His heart was filled with apprehension. May I know what instructions Elder Dong Yang has for me? Due to the Fortune Divine Jade, Zi Yuan wanted to draw a clear line between himself and Xing Hui. He also wanted to spread the news to the Purple Firmament Palace as soon as possible. The sooner the Purple Firmament Palace received the news, the higher the chances of them sending experts to monopolize Xing Hui's Fortune Divine Jade. Qing Su glanced at the Ziyuan Daoist and saw through his true thoughts with a single glance. Originally, he wanted to compensate the Ziyuan Daoist for the trouble he had caused, but now, Xing Hui waved his hand and said, you may leave. Yes, Elder Dong Yang. If there's anything else, just give the order. After saying that, Zi Yuan turned and left in a hurry. He was completely unaware that he had missed a great opportunity. Chapter 552. Senior, you, Su Shanshan looked at Xing Hui from the side and couldn't help but tremble with fear. After the initial shock, she was even more excited. She already understood that this senior Dong Yang in front of her was an existence that was far more terrifying than she had imagined. A supreme sect. What kind of majestic existence was that? In the eyes of Su Shanshan and the others, the supreme sect, the Purple Cloud Palace, was like an immortal legend that mortals could only look up to. But now, this senior Dong Yang in front of them dared to face a supreme sect alone. Just how shocking was his cultivation? With this kind of cultivation, even if all the powerhouses of the Go clan swarmed him together, they probably wouldn't be his match, let alone a mere Goyu. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. Xing Hui said lightly. Su Shanshan immediately agreed, as quiet as a cicada in winter. Not long after Ziyuan Sage left, a group of people hurried over again. The three in the lead had the cultivation of divine qi as one. Seeing these people, Su Shanshan bit her lip and said, this is our Su clan's first elder, Su Kaiying, Su Zhongyuan, and our first guest, Feng Feiyang. Greetings, senior, Su Kaiying, Su Zhongyuan, Feng Feiyang, and the others entered the restaurant and bowed respectfully to Xing Hui. In the next moment, their gazes had already landed on Goyu, who had both her arms chopped off and was lying unconscious on the ground covered in blood. They were immediately enraged. You bitch, you actually brought such a huge disaster to our Su family. Your crimes are simply unforgivable. Why aren't you quickly waking up young Master Goyu and apologizing to him? If young Master Goyu isn't satisfied, I'll have your entire family buried with him to appease his anger. Su Shanshan's heart trembled at Su Kaiying's reprimand, but she still forced herself to say, Great-grandfather, Patriarch, do you know what happened just now? This person almost insulted my chastity in front of everyone. If this really happened, how would I have the face to continue living in this world? Bastard! Young Master Goyu taking a liking to you is your greatest honor, yet you actually dare to reject him. What are you standing there in a daze for? Save young Master Goyu immediately. Otherwise, our entire Su family will be met with a calamity because of young Master Goyu's rage. Su Shanshan clenched her teeth and said stubbornly, I was ordered by Senior Dongyang to shut him up. I wouldn't have dared to wake him up without Senior Dongyang's order. Su Kaiying was furious. Dongyang might have the ability to withstand the wrath of the Go clan, but what right did the Su clan have to intervene in this feud? He simply didn't know how to spell the word death. What's wrong? From the looks of it, you want to touch the person I'm restraining? Xing Hui said calmly. Su Kaiying and Su Zhongyuan looked at each other. In the end, Su Zhongyuan said, "Please forgive us, Senior. We definitely have no intention of disobeying Senior's orders. However, Go Yu is a genius from the Go clan of the Purple Cloud Palace. Perhaps Senior doesn't need to care about the Go clan with your status, but our Su clan is nothing in front of the Go clan. Once the Go clan is angered, the entire Su clan will face a calamity. I'm afraid that the 362 members of the Su clan won't be spared." Oh. Xing Hui's gaze landed on Su Zhongyuan. You mean that you don't dare to offend the Go clan, so you don't care about my reputation and let the person I'm restraining go? In other words, in your eyes, I'm easier to bully, right? Su Kaiying and Su Zhongyuan were stunned when they heard this. It shouldn't be like this. The reason why they had come here and pretended to reprimand Su Shanshan was actually to force Qing Su to make a statement. Now that they had put on such an act, the senior before them should at least say something righteously. There's no need for your Su family to concern yourself with this matter. Since I was the one who caused it, I'll bear all the consequences for you. Leave the Go family to me. From today onwards, if your Su family runs into any trouble, just use my name. Even the Go family won't dare to say a single word of objection. At that time, they would be able to rely on the reputation of this expert who was absolutely at the Saint Realm to expand the scope of their forces, and they would be able to expand their businesses to numerous towns in the surroundings. Moreover, the forces of the entire Su clan would multiply by a few times because of this. But now, things didn't seem to be going that way. The senior in front of them could stand up for Su Shanshan when she was being humiliated. He shouldn't be such a person. He should be a righteous and upright person. In that moment, Su Zhongyuan hurriedly said, "We absolutely don't have any intention of looking down on Senior. It's just that this matter concerns the lives of our Su family's 362 people. There are both young and old in our Su family's 362 people, big and small. If young Master Goyu were to suffer any injuries here." "I roughly understand what you mean. After beating around the bush, you still think that I'm easy to bully. So, you're afraid of the Go clan and not me." Xing Hui looked at Su Zhongyuan with a smile that didn't look like a smile. "Since that's the case, I'll let you be afraid for a while." When he finished speaking, he lifted his finger. Just as Su Zhongyuan, the head of the Su clan, was about to open his eyes wide and beg for mercy, a sword light had already pierced through his forehead. "No!" Su Kaiying and Feng Feiyang's hearts trembled fiercely. Looking at Su Zhongyuan, who had been pierced through by a sword light, they felt their entire bodies turn cold. "Do you understand now?" Xing Hui said calmly. "Yes. Yes. We'll take our leave now, Su Kaiying said in a trembling voice. Even though he was an expert of the unity of spirit realm, he still felt that the true qi and blood in his body had almost stopped circulating. A piercing chill kept surging from the bottom of his heart, causing his voice to tremble slightly as he spoke. "You may leave." As soon as Xing Hui said this, Su Kaiying and Feng Feiyang immediately felt as if they had been pardoned. They took Su Zhongyuan's body and quickly left. At this moment, Su Shanshan seemed to have understood something. Her face turned slightly pale. How dare, just wait," Xing Hui said, not taking this small matter to heart. Businessmen pursued profit. An opportunity to multiply the Su clan's power by several times was naturally worth it for them to gamble their lives. Since they were willing to gamble their lives, then he would grant them their wish. A day's time passed quickly. Even though the restaurant was in a mess, not a single guard in the city dared to inquire about it. Even when patrolling the streets, all of them stayed far away. They had already received news that the owner of this restaurant was a ferocious bandit. Not to mention ordinary cultivators like them, even those high and mighty elders of the supreme sects had to treat him with caution. In the face of such a terrifying character, it was better for mortals like them to run as far as they could. They still had the courage to maintain order in the vicinity of Cloud Pass City, which could be said to be extraordinarily courageous. The city lord of Cloud Pass City was skilled in managing his subordinates. After waiting for a while, on the morning of the second day, dozens of sword lights finally broke through the void. They were like meteors from outer space, descending towards Clear Cloud City at an incredible speed. Among the dozens of sword lights, even the weakest one was at the prominent divine stage. Among them, there were more than 20 true energy stage and transformative stage experts. The leader was even a never-ending stage expert. This lineup could not be said to be weak. After the group of people descended, they immediately sealed the surrounding space and set up an inescapable net, surrounding the entire Clear Cloud City. After ensuring that Xing Hui couldn't escape, the few people in the leads suddenly descended from the sky. With boundless pressure, they shouted, "Traitor Dong Yang, quickly hand over the Fortune Mainland's most precious treasure, the Fortune Divine Jade. Come out and accept your death." Xing Hui raised his head and looked up. There are quite a number of people. The Purple Cloud Palace's branch palace lord, Xiang Hong, Elder Xiang Meng, Reverend Zihao, Reverend Violet Shade, Reverend Tong Yun, and Reverend Hellfire were all present. The transformative realm Reverend Yunpeng, Reverend Kunwu, and Reverend Tianzi were present as well. However, the Eternal Realm Great Elder was an unfamiliar face. He was not the so-called ancestor Xiang Jun that Qing Su was familiar with. What's wrong? Doesn't the Purple Firmament Palace's Pillar of Heaven's mountain headquarters look down on the Central Plains cultivators? How come they're willing to send a never-ending boundary Grand Elder to oversee the headquarters? Xing Hui laughed. Isn't this all your fault? If it weren't for you stealing my Fortune Mainland's most precious treasure, the Fortune Divine Jade, how would my Purple Firmament Palace attract the hostility of the other forces? Now, hand over the Fortune Divine Jade and cripple your own cultivation. Who knows, we might be able to put in a few good words for you in front of the other forces and save your life. Otherwise, next year today will be the anniversary of your death. Before Palace Master Xiang Hong could say anything, the never-ending Boundary Grand Elder had already taken a step forward and barked in a low voice. State your name. Xing Hui said slowly. Seeing that Xing Hui had spoken to him in such a tone, the never-ending Boundary Grand Elder was enraged. A terrifying aura erupted from his body as he roared, "You're courting death. Elder Hong Guang, be careful. The Fortune Divine Jade is still in his hands. If we kill him now, the whereabouts of the Fortune Divine Jade will remain a mystery forever." Xiang Hong hurried to persuade Elder Hong. Kill him. Killing him would be letting him off too easily. I want to capture him alive and make him suffer a fate worse than death day and night. Elder Hong Guang gritted his teeth. When he thought of how the 5 great sects had oppressed the Purple Cloud Palace over the past few days because Xing Hui was from the Purple Cloud Palace and how the Grand Elders had suffered, he could not wait to crush Xing Hui's bones and scatter his ashes. At this moment, in the corner of the restaurant, Goyu, who had fainted from the pain, suddenly woke up. When she saw the familiar figures of the elders in the air, she could not help but become agitated. She shouted loudly, "Palace Lord, save me! Palace Lord, save me! This madman actually dared to kill an inner disciple of our Purple Cloud Palace. This is a crime that cannot be punished. Quickly kill him and save me. Since he dares to challenge the dignity of our Purple Cloud Palace like this, we will definitely torture him ruthlessly in a moment. We will slaughter his entire family, and none of his friends and family will be spared. Only then can we restore the might of our Purple Cloud Palace." Goyu shouted fiercely. She could not understand the situation before her. Elder Hong Guang and the rest were not the only ones who were shocked by this scene. Even Su Shanshan, who was at the side, looked at her as if she was looking at a fool. Under such circumstances, was a mere Purple Cloud Palace's inner court disciple qualified to speak? Chapter 553. Purple Firmament Palace. Xing Hui looked at Elder Hong Guang and said, "Let's not talk about the grudges between me and the Purple Firmament Palace. Now, I can give you a chance. Everyone in the Purple Firmament Palace will submit to me and become the sword that I use to conquer the Fortune Mainland. In the future, the Purple Firmament Palace will be able to enjoy unprecedented prosperity. If you choose to refuse, then I will treat you as an enemy that obstructs me from conquering the Fortune Mainland. An enemy that obstructs a peerless Golden Core Realm expert from conquering the Fortune Mainland." Xing Hui did not claim to be an almighty expert. The influence of an almighty expert was too great. While Qing Wei Dao Master was trying to find his whereabouts, he did not want to cause too much of a commotion. Therefore, a peerless Golden Core Realm expert was enough to suppress an entire mainland. In any case, the strongest experts on the Fortune Mainland were merely a few dozen false core realm cultivators. Although these false core realm cultivators called themselves Golden Core Realm cultivators, their battle prowess was still a notch weaker than Golden Core Realm cultivators. A peerless Golden Core Realm cultivator fighting against 10, or even 20 Golden Core Realm cultivators was nothing strange. This kind of strength had already reached the standard of sweeping across the entire Fortune Mainland. Golden Core. When Elder Hong Guang heard Xing Hui's words, he was stunned for a moment. Then, he sneered and said, "Cultivating in the Golden Core realm is not that easy. How much energy is needed to condense a Golden Core? I don't believe that you can condense a Golden Core in a short few years, Elder. Could it be that this kid sold the Fortune Divine Jade? If he sold the Fortune Divine Jade, then by relying on the vast amount of resources obtained from the sale of the Fortune Divine Jade, he might really be able to cultivate to the true Gold Core stage and step into the Gold Core stage. Once he reaches the Gold Core stage, with his foundation, he would definitely far surpass ordinary Gold Core stage experts. After all, when he was at the prominent divine stage, he already displayed a battle strength that wasn't inferior to an expert at the transformative stage," Xiang Hong said cautiously. "He sold the Fortune Jade and used the Fortune Jade to exchange for resources to condense a Golden Core." Xiang Hong's words caused Elder Hong Guang's expression to change. It was really possible. I will know after I try. I am an Endless Realm expert. Even if he is a true Golden Core Realm expert, he won't be able to defeat me in an instant. Get ready, if there is anything wrong, immediately come to my rescue." Yes. Elder Hong Guang was indeed very cautious. He had activated his defensive celestial technique right before he attacked to protect his own life. Seeing this scene, Xing Hui's face had a trace of disappointment. It seems that the Purple Cloud Palace has chosen the latter. I have to say that you have chosen the path of death for the Purple Cloud Palace. Seeking death? Let's not talk about whether or not you've broken through to the Gold Core realm. Even if you've really become a Gold Core realm expert, it's still far from enough to destroy the Purple Cloud Palace. How can you imagine the resources that the Purple Cloud Palace possesses? Even if an almighty sent down a prime combat avatar, we would be able to surround and kill it, let alone you. Today, I'll make you pay for your shameless boasting." Elder Hou Guang let out a low roar. In the next moment, he had already charged forward. Dragon subduing. Clang. Xing Hui responded by unsheathing his sword. There was no need to deliberately activate powerful swordsmanship or use powerful sword force. The moment the deep scarlet sword was unsheathed, heaven and earth were filled with an intense and dazzling sword light. In the endless brilliance and sword intent, a huge phantom of a divine sword appeared out of thin air. It seemed to cut through the void and strike across realms, fiercely clashing with Elder Hong Guang, who was charging down from the void. Before the sword light arrived, the surging heat and terrifying sword intent that could annihilate one's consciousness had already rushed into Elder Hong Guang's mind. It caused Elder Hong Guang's pupils to shrink abruptly. Oh no! In the next moment, Elder Hong Guang, who still had the strength to charge down, hurriedly retreated. He no longer cared about killing Xing Hui and immediately flew toward the experts from the Purple Cloud Palace. At the same time, his palm that was like the phantom of a divine dragon collided with Tsing Hui's sword light. Roar! In the void, there seemed to be a loud and clear dragon roar. The phantom of a true dragon that was completely condensed from vital energy let out a painful cry. It could not hold on for more than a moment before it was shattered by the sword light. Then, the dazzling sword light continued to charge forward without losing any momentum and wrapped around Elder Hong Guang's body. Oh no! Elder, be careful. This sword chi. Is this the legendary attack of a golden elixir realm expert when he unleashes his golden elixir? Stop this sword chi. The many true energy realm and transformative realm elders who had been ordered to guard the formation reacted quickly. The moment the sword light struck Elder Hong Guang, they all attacked at the same time. The powerful attack was like a torrent of energy that carried a vast and terrifying energy fluctuation as it crashed into the sword light that was slashing toward Elder Hong Guang. In an instant, the primordial chi exploded and the sword chi burst forth. 90% of the sword light that was slashing toward Elder Hong Guang was shattered by the combined attack of the many true energy realm and transformative realm experts. Even so, the remaining 10% of the sword chi still carried a terrifying destructive power as it pierced through Elder Hong Guang's body. Dark red blood splattered across the sky. A peerless golden elixir. A peerless golden elixir. This is a true peerless golden elixir. A peerless golden elixir realm expert is not something we can fight against. Go! Go! Elder Hong Guang, who was severely injured, could not care less about his aggressive appearance at the beginning. With a shrill scream, he quickly turned into a stream of light and shot toward the horizon. Seeing that Elder Hong Guang had fled, the remaining true energy realm and transformative realm experts were all frightened. Although they had 20 true energy realm and transformative realm experts on their side and could even kill a golden elixir realm expert, facing a peerless golden elixir realm expert like Tsing Hui, even if they doubled the number of experts on their side, they would still die. Cultivators with a peerless golden elixir realm were often called peerless golden elixir realm experts. In terms of combat power, a peerless golden elixir realm expert was almost equivalent to 10 ordinary golden elixir realm experts. Retreat. Retreat quickly. Ask for help from the Pillar of Heaven's Mountain's headquarters. The Fortune Divine Jade is not my Purple Firmament Palace's only treasure. If we really want to kill this kid and force him to reveal the location of the Fortune Divine Jade, it is the responsibility of everyone on the Fortune mainland. How can only my Purple Firmament Palace take action? So what if he has a peerless golden elixir realm expert? Even a Supreme Existence's main battle incarnation cannot act presumptuously on our Fortune mainland. The true energy realm, transformative realm, and prominent sage realm experts of the Purple Firmament Palace shouted at the same time and retreated as fast as they could. In the blink of an eye, they had disappeared without a trace. They really came in a hurry and left in a hurry. Tsing Hui did not chase after them. After Hong Guang and the others found out about his cultivation, they would naturally send a message to the other 6 supreme sects to surround and kill him. Once they gathered together, he would capture them all in one fell swoop and completely intimidate the entire Fortune mainland. This was the best and fastest way to solve the problem. It would also save him the trouble of fighting one sect after another, so why not? Looking at the Purple Firmament Palace's elders and grand elders who had completely disappeared in less than a moment, Goyu, who had placed all her hopes on Elder Hong Guang and Palace Master Xiang Hong, was dumbfounded. Palace Master. Elders. You, it's obvious that Palace Master Xiang Hong and Grand Elder Hong Guang, whom you placed your hopes on, were unable to save you. Among those people, there seems to be an ancestor from your Go family, right? Unfortunately, even though they mobilized so many people, they were still easily defeated by me. You want to kill me and my friends, but I'm afraid you won't be able to do it. Tsing Hui's gaze fell on the dazed Goyu and said with a faint smile. Goyu, who had also realized this, finally understood what fear was. At this time, he also understood that his so-called identity and background, as well as the Go family's many sources of support, were not worth mentioning in front of Tsing Hui. The other party had uprooted the Go family with his own strength, and even the entire Purple Firmament Palace couldn't do anything to him. This was an incomparably cruel reality. Say. Senior. Senior, please spare my life, please spare my life. I won't dare to do that again, I won't dare to bully people anymore. Do you want to wait for your Go family to see if your Go family's genius Go Chen will bring more powerful reinforcements for you? Xing Hui said kindly. No. No need. No need. Go Yu stammered. Go Yu said with a trembling voice. Because of him, he would become the greatest sinner of the Go family even if he caused the death of a single true element cultivator of the Go family. By then, even if Qing Su spared him, the Go family would never spare him. I thought you'd be able to hold on a little longer. Xing Hui looked at Go Yu with a trace of regret on his face. In your next life, don't be so arrogant before you truly understand the situation you're in. After he finished speaking, he didn't give Go Yu any more time to speak. With a flick of his finger, a ray of sword light shot out and pierced through Go Yu's forehead. Instantly, the terrified expression on Go Yu's face stopped abruptly. Senior, please allow me to follow you and serve you wherever you go. Su Shanshan hurriedly knelt in front of Xing Hui with Go Yu's death and kowtowed respectfully. She vaguely understood that she was now standing at the most critical juncture of her life. Whether she would continue to fade into the crowd or soar into the sky depended on this peerless expert called Dong Yang. However, Xing Hui's gaze lingered on her for a moment, but he didn't respond. Instead, he looked in another direction. There, the Burning Sky sect master Heartcliff, who was wearing a fiery red dress, was leading Elder Chinshua, who Xing Hui was familiar with, as well as Ling Shi and the others who had broken through to the true element boundary in a short time. After landing outside the restaurant, everyone respectfully bowed towards Xing Hui. The Burning Sky sect has a total of 33 people at the prominent saint stage and above. We pay our respects to Grand Elder Dong Yang. Xing Hui's gaze fell on the Burning Sky sect master Heartcliff, who exuded the charm of a mature woman. Beads of sweat trickled down her fair forehead. After a while, Xing Hui retracted his gaze and said slowly, although you chose to appear after the Purple Firmament Palace's people left, since I promised to give you a day's time and you arrived in a day, my promise yesterday is still valid. Tomorrow, we will unify the Fortune mainland. Please support us. Chapter 554. Many thanks for Elder Dong Yang's praise. I, Rockheart, hereby swear that from today onwards, Great Elder Dong Yang will be the first Great Elder of Burning Sky Sect and the only Great Elder of Burning Sky Sect. Your authority is above everyone in Burning Sky Sect, including the Sect Master. Furthermore, from today onwards, Burning Sky Sect will no longer have a Great Elder position. Upon hearing Xing Hui's words, Rockheart's expression turned solemn as he once again bowed respectfully. N. Xing Hui nodded. This sect master Rockheart really knew how to conduct himself. In fact, Yang Kai could sense that sect master Rockheart and the others had arrived outside Clear Cloud City 2 hours ago. They thought that they could hide their auras from him with the help of a secret treasure, but they didn't know that Xing Hui's mental energy was already close to the 120th level. Coupled with the fact that he had cultivated the Wanderer's spirit control technique, he was extremely sensitive to the Yuan Qi of the outside world. They might be able to hide from Hong Guang and the other never-ending stage experts of Purple Cloud Palace, but in front of Xing Hui, they were like bright lanterns exposed to the night sky, unable to hide at all. Great Elder Dong Yang, what should we do next? Rockheart stepped forward and respectfully asked for instructions. She was an extremely ambitious sect master who had always wanted to bring Burning Sky Sect to the level of a supreme sect like Purple Cloud Palace. For this reason, she had been working hard all these years. However, in the end, strength was the only thing that mattered in this world. Even though she had superb skills, the sect lacked the support of a top battle force, so Burning Sky Sect could only maintain a lukewarm attitude. Although there were several true energy boundary experts in the sect, this scale had already reached the limit of what the 6 great sects could tolerate. If she wanted to produce more true energy boundary experts or even transcendent stage experts, it would inevitably attract a thunderous blow from the 6 great sets. Therefore, she could only choose to endure and wait for an opportunity. But now, looking at Xing Hui, who was exuding an almost unparalleled aura, she understood that this opportunity, which was almost equivalent to borrowing Purple Cloud Palace's hand to deliver itself to her, had finally arrived. For this opportunity, even though Burning Sky Sect had been through extremely difficult times all these years because of Xing Hui and one of their grand elders had died from serious injuries, it was still worth it. Today, the Burning Sky Sect was finally able to see the light of day. What awaited them was definitely an unprecedentedly broad path. There's no hurry. We need to give the Great Sun Divine Palace, Primordial Sect, Three Clear Sect, and other sects time. After all, their experts haven't gathered in the Central Plains yet, so it will take at least 1 or 2 days to arrive. When the time comes, I'll give you a chance to settle this matter personally. The Grand Elder is Divine Chi. Grand Elder Divine Aura Sect. When the time comes, I will give you a wills when the time comes, I'll give's chance. Rockheart was startled when she heard this. The young man behind her, who was at the Vision Divine stage, couldn't help but kneel in excitement. Thank you, Grand Elder Dong Yang, for upholding justice for our branch. He had seen Xing Hui's invincible means earlier. If he was willing to make a move, then even if he was a 1,000-year immortal expert who had cultivated to the false core realm, he would still be dead, let alone endless divine aura. Compared to that disciple, Rockheart was slightly surprised. Grand Elder Dong Yang, you're saying, you plan to wait until the Primordial Sect, Three Clear Sect, Great Sun Divine Palace, and other forces gather before making a move? You're not going to attack them one by one? You can't do that. The foundations of the 6 supreme sects are not to be trifled with. Don't look at how the 6 supreme sects only have 2 or 3 endless divine aura experts and dozens of true element boundary and transformative boundary elders roaming outside. In reality, there are at least 20,000-year immortal realm experts hidden in the 6 supreme sections. If the 6 supreme sects were to join forces, it would be equivalent to more than 100 endless divine aura experts. In addition to the numerous true element boundary, transformative boundary, and endless divine aura experts. With such a force, not to mention golden core realm experts, even the incarnations of supreme existences who descended with divine ability seeds would have no choice but to avoid them. If Grand Elder really wants to seize the Fortune Divine Jade, reach the peak, and even unify the Fortune mainland in the future, the best way is to take them down one by one before the other supreme sects arrive. I understand. Xing Hui replied indifferently. The Fortune mainland wasn't weak. If the Hidden Sword mainland did not have a supreme existence like the Hidden Sword Venerable, then the outcome of the war between the Hidden Sword mainland and the Fortune mainland would be unknown. In fact, the Fortune mainland's chances of winning would be higher than the Fortune mainland's. If he was only a supreme grade golden core cultivator, he would naturally choose to take them down one by one. He would continuously kill the experts of the 6 supreme sects and force them to acknowledge his new position as supreme sections. Then, he would slowly conspire against the entire Fortune mainland. After all, with a supreme grade golden core, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that he alone was equivalent to 30 false core realm experts. But the main point was, he didn't condense a supreme grade golden core, but a supreme grade golden core. Moreover, because he cultivated the ultimate sword Dao, his battle strength was so strong that even a supreme existence like the Black Ice Holy Venerable was killed by him. With this kind of ability, so what if all the experts of the 6 supreme sects swarmed him? Based on the situation where a supreme expert didn't run away and instead fought to the death with a golden core expert, he could exchange 100 for 1. Even if the number of false core experts on the Fortune mainland doubled, it still wouldn't be enough to kill him. Then, why don't we make a trip to the Purple Firmament Palace? If we can subdue the Purple Firmament Palace, it will be much easier to deal with the other 5 supreme sections. There's no hurry. Xing Hui calmly said, I need a quiet environment for my research. I don't want the Fortune mainland to be embroiled in endless disputes and wars. If we use guerrilla warfare to take them down one by one, they won't accept it. It's best to deal with them all in one go. Deal with them all in one go? How is that possible? It's impossible under normal circumstances, but what if I have a 13th, 14th, or even 15th grade divine weapon? 15th grade divine weapon. Heartcliff's eyes widened. The gap between the Golden Core realm and the Transcendent realm was huge. It could be said that it was 100 times greater than the gap between the Golden Core realm and the Transcendent realm. The only way to bridge this gap was to have a divine weapon. With the development of divine abilities, the effect of a divine weapon on a cultivator's battle prowess was no longer the same as before. However, that depended on the grade of the divine weapon. 12th, 13th, and 14th grade divine weapons might not be enough, but 15th and 16th grade divine weapons might not be enough. If a peerless grade Golden Core sword cultivator wielded a 15th grade divine weapon that was extremely compatible with him, it was not an extravagant hope for him to fight against a supreme expert. Even if the compatibility was average, when the divine weapon reached the 16th grade, that peerless grade Golden Core cultivator would still be able to barely fight against a supreme expert. The only regret was that he could only compete with a supreme expert in the aspect of attack. At present, it was impossible to forge divine weapons above the 12th grade. Even if the divine protection technique could ignore the grade of divine weapons, the materials that had long been out of production were still the biggest hindrance in forging divine weapons. But, there was an ancient cultivation dwelling in the divine wilderness. As time passed, the top divine weapons in the ancient cultivation dwelling were greatly corroded by the passage of time. However, there were still many divine weapons that had been maintained meticulously. For example, Jianing was called Jianing because he had obtained a 20th grade peerless divine sword called the Chengying sword. This divine sword had been maintained well. Even after 10,000 years of corrosion, it was still at the 18th grade. With this peerless divine weapon, any one of Jianying's divine leaders would be able to enter the top 10 of the divine wilderness. This divine sword was also used by Jianing to establish his own peerless status and was the foundation of his resistance against the heavenly Tao. Heartcliff had heard of all this before. If Tsing Hui really had a 15th grade divine weapon, coupled with his peerless grade Golden Core cultivation, in terms of attack, he would be as powerful as a supreme expert. Can the creation divine jade really be sold at such a high price and be exchanged for a 15th grade divine weapon? Heartcliff's eyes were filled with disbelief. If her understanding of the various organizations in the Primal Chaos Divine Temple was correct, divine weapons of the 12th grade and above were considered strategic resources. They were not for sale, not to mention 15th grade divine weapons. Even the top 10 organizations in the Primal Chaos Divine Temple could be considered rich if they had 2 or 3 15th grade divine weapons. Moreover, these divine weapons were usually in the hands of those invincible experts in the Saint Realm. You don't need to ask where this 15th grade divine weapon came from. You only need to know that I have the qualifications to fight against everyone in the Fortune mainland. Yes. Rockheart replied respectfully, his heart willing to submit to him. Just wait. 3 days later, we will head to the Purple Firmament Palace. At that time, the Purple Firmament Palace's headquarters in the Pillar of Heaven's mountains should be arriving. The experts from the other sects should also be gathering at the Purple Firmament Palace. At that time, we will kill our way over. As Tsing Hui spoke, his gaze landed on Su Shanshan, who was still kneeling at the side. He didn't have any feelings for this young miss of the Su family. Saving her was already his limit. As for keeping her by his side, was it a waste of time? There's nothing for you to do here. You can leave. Senior, I beg you, take her away. Tsing Hui said indifferently. His words were naturally directed at the Burning Sky Sect's sect master, Heartcliff. When Rockheart arrived, Ling Ling was among the crowd as well. She had already noticed Su Shanshan's presence, so when she saw how Qing Su might be angered by Su Shanshan, she hurriedly knelt down and bowed. Please calm down, Senior Dongyang. I'll take her away right now. After saying that, he pulled Su Shanshan out of the restaurant without giving her any chance to explain. Su Shanshan's expression turned gloomy. She guessed that her arrogance when she arrived at the restaurant must have left a bad impression on this senior. This senior had already done his best to help her. If she wanted to climb up to this senior, it would be a fool's dream. For a moment, she was filled with regret for her arrogance. She swore to herself that she would turn over a new leaf. Xing Hui ignored the two of them and glanced at the Burning Sky sect crowd. He saw the top genius disciple of the Burning Sky sect, Ling Shi, who had wanted to challenge him back then. The top genius of the Burning Sky sect had been very arrogant in front of him back then. However, after Xing Hui's great power at the Grand Creation Banquet, her competitive spirit had been completely crushed. As for now, even when Xing Hui looked at her, she still did not have the courage to look him in the eye. Instead, she immediately lowered her head, as if she did not dare to look him in the eye. In a few years, the so-called genius disciples at the Grand Creation Banquet should have grown up. They are all the pillars of the sect. Moreover, those who can catch my eye are basically at the true energy realm. A few of them might have broken through to the transformative state. Now that the 6 supreme sects are besieging me, a supreme gold core cultivator, these people must have come with the sect's higher-ups. I wonder if they still have the courage to attack me when we meet again. Qing Su thought in a rather playful manner. He looked away and stopped looking around, waiting for the 3 days to pass. Chapter 555. Middle Land's Purple Cloud Palace. Streams of light were like meteors that cut through the void, carrying a vast and mysterious aura as they descended toward a square inside the Purple Cloud Palace. Ha ha ha, it's the friends from the 3 Pure sect. Along with a burst of laughter from inside the Purple Cloud Palace, a figure quickly appeared and greeted them. I didn't expect Honorable Jian Xi, Honorable Pudu, and Honorable Guangfa to personally lead the team. The middle-aged man who greeted them said with a smile. Honorable Guangfa, the leader of the 3 Pure sect, also bowed slightly to him. Taoist Master Tianzhu. Friends from the 3 Pure sect, please come in first. Emperor Taihao, Emperor Gao Yang, and Emperor Xianyuan from the Heavenly Court, Honorable Taiheng, Honorable Zhang Jia, and Honorable Long Qi from the Taisher sect, as well as Master Di Zong, Master Ming Yuan, and Master Reincarnation from the Netherworld sect are all here. Only the Great Sun Divine Palace is left. Taoist Master Tianzhu said with a smile. Great Sun Divine Palace. At the mention of the Great Sun Divine Palace, Honorable Guangfa was obviously resentful. The Creation Divine Jade was lost in the Great Sun Divine Palace. Now that Dong Yang, who stole the Creation Divine Jade, has appeared, the Great Sun Divine Palace did not send experts here immediately. Instead, they are dragging their feet here. What a disgrace. I have already sent a message to the Great Sun Divine Palace. It is said that the Great Sun Divine Palace sent many experts, so they are a little slow. However, there is no hurry. Let's wait inside and discuss how to capture Dong Yang and force him to tell us the whereabouts of the Creation Divine Jade. Okay. Honorable Guangfa nodded and said at the same time, I heard you mention in the message that Dong Yang seems to have condensed a golden core. Moreover, it is a supreme grade golden core. Yes, this is true, and Elder Hong Guang of the Purple Cloud Palace has already fought with him. With just one blow, he severely injured Elder Hong Guang and more than a dozen true energy realm and transformative realm experts of the Purple Cloud Palace in the central region. His cultivation is far beyond an ordinary golden core realm cultivator. Taoist Master Tianzhu said in a deep voice. Peerless gold core. How is this possible? As far as I know, even in the top organizations of the Chaos Divine Palace, there are very few people who can condense a peerless gold core. Even if there are only 1 or 2 people who can condense a peerless gold core. How can Dong Yang, who stole the Fortune Divine Jade, condense a peerless gold core? I'm just afraid that he will steal the Fortune Jade and sell it. Only then will he be able to obtain such a huge amount of resources to condense a peerless golden core. Reverend Tianzhu's eyes had a trace of worry. Damn it. If he really has the guts to sell the Fortune Divine Jade, our Fortune Mainland Supreme Treasure, I will make him beg for death. Venerable Guangfa said with rage in his eyes. Let's go in first. Taoist Tianzhu shook his head. Very soon, he had already brought Supremacy Guangfa and the rest to the main hall. At this time, hundreds of experts had already gathered in the main hall. Among these hundreds of experts, almost none of them had a cultivation base lower than the true element realm. Even those experts who had cultivated to the false core realm had reached 30 to 40 people. These people gathered together and communicated with each other. There was not much panic or fear in their expressions. Seeing Venerable Guangfa and the rest arrive, many people stood up and greeted them. Venerable Guangfa, Venerable Pudu, and Venerable Jian Ci are here. The people from the Three Pures sect are also here. Now, only the Great Sun Divine Palace is left. Once the people from the Great Sun Divine Palace arrive, we can directly take action and capture that little thief. That little thief won't run away, right? Don't worry, the people from the Purple Cloud Palace have been watching him. He can't run away. In the midst of the discussion, Venerable Guangfa and the rest gradually sat down. With their arrival, the number of False Core Realm and Never-Ending Realm experts present had reached an astonishing 49 people. In addition, there were 81 True Element Realm and Transformative Realm experts. With such a strong lineup, it would not be difficult to defeat 2 or 3 experts who had cultivated to the Peerless Grade Gold Core Realm. This was because these people felt that their lineup was sufficient. In order to deal with Dong Yang who had cultivated to the Peerless Grade Gold Core, there was no need to go all out and leave behind a large number of guards. If they really went all out, the number of experts would definitely double. Everyone, with our strength, it is already not difficult to kill that little thief. The key is to ensure that he is unable to break out of the encirclement. Therefore, I suggest that all of us Never-Ending Stage and Core Formation Stage practitioners attack together to kill that little thief. As for the remaining elders, we will set up a formation outside to prevent him from escaping. That's right, it is not difficult to kill him. However, he has cultivated to the Peerless Grade Gold Core. If he wants to escape, it will be difficult for us to stop him one-on-one. I have a formation here called the 10-terminal formation. It is comprehended from the creation sacred jade and supplemented. It is perfect to trap and kill that little thief and capture him alive. The 10-terminal formation is well known. Not only is it powerful, but the key is that it can be set up with a little practice. It is suitable for this purpose. That's right. Thank you, Venerable Long Qi. Many Never-Ending Realm and Core Formation Realm cultivators in the hall spoke with confidence. They already regarded Xing Hui as their prey. As long as they attacked, capturing Xing Hui alive would be a piece of cake. Just as they were discussing for a while, Xiang Hong, the palace master of the Purple Cloud Palace, ran in quickly and said with a serious expression, "Everyone, Dong Yang has made his move." Huh? He wants to escape. Don't you think it is too late to run now? Xiang Jun, the Never-Ending Realm expert from the Purple Cloud Palace, who had also followed the large group, sneered. He is not escaping. Xiang Hong said with a serious expression, he is now rushing towards the Purple Cloud Palace at an extremely fast speed. Huh? Xiang Hong's words stunned everyone present. Then, the elders and grand elders of the Never-Ending Realm and Core Formation Realm seemed to have understood something. They were instantly enraged. This little thief is really bold. He obviously knows that we are gathered here to discuss how to deal with him. However, not only did he not escape, he actually dared to come towards us alone. He is really bold and does not take us seriously at all. He is indeed very arrogant. Does he really think that he can do whatever he wants just because he has a peerless gold core? It is not as if our 6 great sects have never produced a gold core realm expert before. However, we felt that the gold core realm wasted too many resources and did not increase our strength significantly. If we wanted to condense a high-grade gold core to break through to the almighty realm, we would have to spend even more resources. However, the probability of breaking through to the transcendent realm with a high-grade gold core realm is so low. Instead of concentrating all our resources on one person, we might as well share them and let more people condense their inner cores and prolong their lives. Because we understand the drawbacks of the gold core realm, our 6 great sects usually only allow peerless geniuses to condense their gold core. After several decades, we still haven't found a suitable candidate. As a result, there is not a single gold core realm expert on the Fortune mainland. What, does he think that he is invincible after condensing his gold core? He is courting death. Everyone, I think we should start learning the 10 extremes formation now. When he arrives, we will give him a good warning. That's right, this brat has no one in his eyes. We must teach him a good lesson. First, destroy his will, then torture his body. Let him understand the price he has to pay for stealing the Fortune Divine Jade. The never-ending realm and core formation realm experts were enraged and sneered. Everyone, if we really want to make a move, I think we should do it as soon as possible. As for learning the formation again to trap him, I think it is already too late. Xiang Hong looked at the various sects elders and grand elders who were still moving slowly, and a bitter expression appeared on his face. Because, his speed is too fast, too fast. Clear Cloud City is at least several thousand kilometers away from here. Even if we fly at full speed on our flying swords, it would still take us 2 hours. No matter how fast he is, it would take him at least half an hour. Moreover, the 10 extremes formation is not difficult to learn. 1 hour is more than enough. 1 hour. I'm afraid we don't have 1 hour left. Because several thousand kilometers, he won't even need 1 hour. Xiang Hong's serious expression revealed a trace of helplessness, as well as the lingering shock he felt when he received the news. Xiang Jun looked at Xiang Hong's frown and said with some dissatisfaction, "Won't need 1 hour? Several thousand kilometers. Don't tell me you want to tell me that he'll be here soon." No, Xiang Hong was about to say something, but at this moment, a voice that was filled with a penetrating effect suddenly exploded in the hall. "I'm already here." Huh? Amidst the shocked cries of the many never-ending realm and core formation realm elders and grand elders present, a beam of sword light suddenly whistled over from the horizon. Faintly, it was accompanied by the stern shouts of the Purple Firmament Palace's patrolling disciples, "Enemy attack! Enemy attack!" Unfortunately, the sword light was too fast. It was so fast that it far exceeded the limits of everyone's imagination. It was even faster than the speed of the patrolling disciples' voices. Before their voices could reach the sky above the Purple Cloud Palace, an ear-piercing explosion with a vast pressure descended from the sky, instantly filling the entire Purple Cloud Palace in the Central Plains. Fast. So fast. This sword light. I'm afraid it can't fly 10 to 20,000 kilometers in 2 hours. How can there be such a fast flying sword? Even if I, a never-ending realm expert, use all my strength to drive my rank 8 flying sword, I won't be able to reach half the speed of this sword light. After seeing the speed at which the sword light whistled and tore through the void, everyone couldn't help but cry out in shock. Shio! The sword light froze. Strong winds scattered and waves of air swept out. Xing Hui's figure brought with it a rolling pressure, as well as an explosion of air from afar. He arrived above the large square of the Purple Cloud Palace. The terrifying momentum shocked the many ordinary disciples, true disciples, core disciples, and even the deacons and elders outside the Purple Cloud Palace. For a moment, they were all speechless. "I'm here." Qing Su hovered in the air on his sword as his cold gaze swept across the true element boundary, transformative boundary, never-ending boundary, as well as the Fortune mainland's false core realm cultivators in the direction of the discussion hall. His voice carried a pressure that penetrated straight into their souls, intimidating their souls. "Now, it's time for all of you supreme sects to make a choice. Choose to submit to me, and from today onwards, the Fortune mainland will be unified. Under my leadership, the Fortune mainland will gradually flourish and prosper. Or, choose to oppose me, and bring disaster to your respective sections." Henceforth, your orthodoxies will be severed, and your inheritances will be destroyed. Make your choice, Supreme Sect's Grand Elders. Chapter 556. Tsing Hui's voice reverberated in the air through his true yuan. In an instant, it spread across the entire Purple Cloud Palace. Everyone in the Purple Cloud Palace heard it loud and clear. This attitude of looking down on everyone made the experts of the Grand Beginning Sect, the Heavenly Court, the Netherworld Sect, the Three Clears Sect, and the Purple Cloud Palace's headquarters, who had already gathered in the Purple Cloud Palace, blush, and then become furious. Impudent! Dong Yang, how dare you spout such nonsense in front of all of us? Do you really think you're invincible just because you've reached the Golden Core realm? If it weren't for the fact that many of us Supreme Sects don't think there's a need to cultivate the Golden Core realm, do you think a puny Golden Core realm expert like you can boast so shamelessly? You really are arrogant and conceited. You look down on everyone just because you're a little capable. Moreover, you dare to speak arrogantly here. Today, the experts of our primeval sect will teach you how to behave properly. All the elders and grand elders of the unending realm and core formation realm were roaring in anger. Especially Xiang Jun, who knew that Tsing Hui had come from the Purple Cloud Palace. His face twisted with anger as he stared coldly at Tsing Hui as if he was looking at a dead man. They were all supreme powerhouses of the 6 supreme sections. Even though the core formation cultivators were on the same level as them, who would dare to yell in front of them? The arrogant attitude of this arrogant person in front of them deeply stimulated the supreme dignity they had cultivated in the Fortune mainland over the years. Most of them had heard of Tsing Hui's cultivation, but their minds were still stuck at the time of the Fortune banquet. At that time, Tsing Hui's strength was only at the Transcendent Realm. He was even weaker than a true Transcendent Realm expert. Under such circumstances, how could they not be angry at Tsing Hui's arrogant words? If it wasn't for the fact that they still maintained a trace of reason and understood that they weren't a match for a Golden Core realm expert by themselves, they would have probably charged into the sky with rage and completely killed Tsing Hui, who carried a vast and mighty pressure. From the looks of it, you've chosen the latter. This is a disappointing choice. I've given you a chance, but you're not willing to grasp it. Since that's the case, I can only do it myself to make you realize the reality. As Tsing Hui spoke, he slowly raised the deep scarlet sword in his hand. Everyone, we can't let him escape this time. Even though we haven't cultivated the 10 terminal formations, there should still be powerful formations between our sects, right? How about this? The Grand Beginning Sect, the Heavenly Court, the Nether Spring Sect, and the Triching Sect will form a battle formation to surround and kill him. I'll activate the Grand Mountain Guarding formation of our Purple Cloud Palace and fully control the formation to trap him here so that he won't turn around and flee after realizing that he's no match for us, leaving behind endless disasters. Taoist Master Tianzhu of the Purple Cloud Palace shouted in a deep voice. Good. Just as Taoist Master Tianzhu said. Taoist Master Tianzhu, Taoist Master Shangyu, Taoist Master Tai Shan, you'll be in charge of preventing him from escaping. We'll attack together and kill this kid. Everyone from the Grand Beginning Sect, follow me and form the 24 Heavenly Stars formation. Ha! Everyone from the Nether Spring Sect, let this little thief see the power of our 6 paths of reincarnation formation. Everyone from the Triching Sect, listen to my command and form the grand formation of the 10,000 Immortals dynasty. The Great Sun Divine Palace really knows how to slack off. When the Fortune Divine Jade returns to our 5 sects, we'll definitely have a word with him. That's how it should be. Many Tranquility Realm and Core Formation Realm powerhouses from various sects shouted at the same time. The 5 supreme sects divided up the work. In an instant, they either attacked or defended, forming one after another extremely powerful formations. These formations usually had 6 or 7 core formation realm powerhouses as the center, supplemented by 20 to 30 true energy realm, transformative realm, and never-ending realm powerhouses. The strength of everyone combined into one. The strength of each formation was not inferior to 4 or 5 golden core realm powerhouses. It was even stronger than a superior-grade Golden Core Realm cultivator. 4 main offensive formations and 1 defensive formation were equivalent to the strength of more than 20 Golden Core Realm powerhouses. It was far beyond the strength of a peerless Golden Core Realm cultivator. Even if an Almighty sent down a Golden Core Realm avatar, it would still be smashed into pieces by the combined strength of the 5 supreme sects. Is this what you're relying on to fight against me? Xing Hui looked at the 4 grand formations below and didn't make a move immediately. Since Huang Xiaolong wanted to unify the Fortune mainland and subdue all resistance on the Fortune mainland, he naturally had to crush all their hopes in one fell swoop while they were at their most glorious and resplendent peak. That way, they would never dare to resist him in the future. Then, prepare to face the consequences of your choice. As Qing Su said that, he moved the moment the formations of the Primeval Sect, the 3 Purities Sect, the Netherworld Sect, and the Heavenly Court were assembled. The deep scarlet sword slashed down. His target, the Netherworld Sect, was right in front of him. Rumble. Unparalleled brilliance shot out from the deep red sword. In the void, it was as if a dazzling sun had suddenly appeared before everyone's eyes. Then, the blazing sun fell, turning into a sword light that tore through the sky and slashed downwards. In front of this sword light, the heavens and earth lost their color and everything dimmed. It was as if the end of the world had arrived and all life had been extinguished. In an instant, the people of the Grand Beginning Sect, Netherworld Sect, Heavenly Court, and Tri-Ching Sect who had formed the battle formation and thought that they could resist Xing Hui widened their eyes. Especially the people of the Netherworld Sect who were targeted by the sword light, they couldn't help but scream in horror and disbelief. Ah! How is this possible? How can there be such a terrifying sword light? This isn't a supreme grade gold core. This is definitely not the power of a supreme grade gold core. Divine ability. Divine ability. This is a divine ability. We can't block it, we can't block it. Our Netherworld Sect's battle formation won't be able to block it. Quickly, dodge it. A second ago, they were aggressive and arrogant, as if capturing Xing Hui alive and forcing him to give them the Fortune Jade was as easy as pie. But in the next second, despair and distress completely enveloped the Netherworld Sect's people. Attack! Save them! Stop this sword chi! Oh my god, what is this thing? Divine ability? Is it the divine ability that only the Almighty in the Legends of the Chaos Temple can use? How can we fight against this divine ability? The remaining battle formations of the Taishir Sect, the Sanqing Sect, and the Heavenly Court were also in chaos. Although they wanted to help the Netherworld Sect block the sword light, the action of a battle formation could not be compared with the action of a cultivator with a superior grade gold core. When they quickly moved to intercept the sword light, which was like the fall of the sun and carried a terrifying aura like the end of the world, had fiercely slashed the Netherworld Sect's battle formation. For a moment, endless light and heat, mixed with a terrible explosion, spread out. Even though the Netherworld Sect's people burst out with all their strength to fight back, the power contained in the sword light still tore their counterattack and defense apart with unparalleled sharpness. The remaining power continued to wrap around their bodies. Countless scattered sword lights madly burst out, forming a dense sword chi storm that instantly penetrated the Netherworld Sect's battle formation. In an instant, more than 30 experts of the Netherworld Sect's battle formation screamed at the same time, incessant. Ah! No! I'm someone who will comprehend the Supreme Great Tao in the future. How can I die here? Martial uncle, save me! Blood, mixed with screams, filled the air above the Netherworld Sect's battle formation. With one sword strike, at least 1/3 of the Netherworld Sect's more than 30 experts in the core formation realm, the never-ending realm, the transformative realm, and the true energy realm either screamed and died on the spot, cut into ashes by the brilliant sword light, or were seriously injured and unable to fight back. Their lives were hanging by a thread. The Netherworld Sect is so miserable. How can this be? How can Dongyang be so powerful? How is this possible? My God! One sword strike almost destroyed the Netherworld sect's battle formation and killed several experts in the True Energy Realm and the Transformative Realm. Even one of the Grand Elders in the Never-Ending Realm was killed by the sword chi head-on. How can we resist such sword chi? How can we resist such an attack? In the distance, those from the Purple Cloud Palace who were responsible for guarding against Xing Hui's escape and had not yet joined the battle widened their eyes. Especially Xiang Heng, Xiang Meng, Zi Xian, Zi Hao, and the other perfected masters who had known Xing Hui's strength quite well a few years ago, their hearts were filled with disbelief. Even Xiang Jun, the never-ending realm expert who loathed Xing Hui because Xing Hui had embarrassed him, felt a chill run down his spine. He asked himself if he could resist Xing Hui's sword strike if it had been aimed at him. The answer was, he couldn't. If Xing Hui's sword strike had been aimed at him, he would have died. Golden Core Explosion. Golden Core Explosion. This is definitely an attack with Golden Core Explosion. The most terrifying attack of a Golden Core realm expert is the first strike. Dong Yang must have used all of his Golden Core Explosion. In addition, the divine weapon in his hand is not an ordinary item, which is why he could unleash such a powerful attack. He definitely can't unleash such an attack a second time. Everyone, don't be blinded by his explosive sword strike. Attack. Take advantage of the fact that the Netherworld sect friends have attracted his strongest attack for us and attack with all your might. Yes, yes, yes. Such a terrifying attack must have been formed by the Golden Core Explosion and a peerless divine weapon. Attack quickly, don't give him any time to react. Although the Taisher sect, the Sanqing sect, and the Heavenly Court were deeply shocked by the invincible power of Xing Hui's sword strike, some of them reacted very quickly. Before Xing Hui could continue to attack the battle formation of the Netherworld sect, the battle formation of the three sects had already exploded. 3 waves of energy formed by the joint attack of the experts of the Genuine Energy Realm, the Transformative Realm, the Never-Ending Realm, and the Core Formation Realm swept toward Xing Hui in a mighty manner, completely sealing off Xing Hui's escape route from 3 directions. Stubborn. Xing Hui said lightly. Even though he didn't want to expose his battle strength as a mighty figure to avoid attracting the attention of the Sons of Chaos from the Chaos Temple, it was more than enough to deal with a siege of this level. Sky splitting. A dazzling sword light burst out from the flying sword under his feet. The next moment, before the attack formed by the 3 battle formations was about to completely overturn him, he had already rushed out of the attack formed by the 3 battle formations at an incredible speed. His full speed was almost beyond the reaction limit of the eyes of ordinary experts of the Genuine Energy Realm. They only saw a flash of light in front of their eyes and had already lost sight of their target. By the time they locked onto Xing Hui's location again, Xing Hui had already reappeared above the battle formation of the Netherworld sect, and then, the deep red sword slashed down again. Chapter 557. It was just as bright, just as magnificent, just as deadly, and just as hopeless. Xing Hui used his second slash to let everyone from the 5 supreme sects understand that his sword was not a sword that could only be formed by the eruption of the gold core. If he could make the first slash, he could make the second, third, and fourth slash. Compared to the first slash, the Netherworld sect was fully prepared this time. However, their battle formation had been destroyed by Xing Hui's slash. Even if they were fully prepared, how could they resist the brilliant sword light that was like the falling sun? Accompanied by a series of shrill and painful screams, the sword light that was like the falling sun slashed into the battle formation of the Netherworld sect once again. For a moment, Yuan Qi scattered in all directions, and streams of light shot out. Rings of terrifying energy waves swept out in all directions. In an instant, the light and heat formed almost filled everyone's vision. The scattered sword chi that was mixed in the strong light and heat were like executioners walking on a path of life and death. They mercilessly took the lives of the true energy boundary, transformative boundary, endless boundary, and core formation boundary experts of the Netherworld sect. At this moment, everyone in the Netherworld sect seemed to have fallen into a nightmare. There was nothing they could do except howl in despair. Stop him. Stop him. We can't let him continue like this. If this continues, our morale will be completely destroyed by his sword alone. Do something, we have to do something. Immortal Tianzhu, Immortal Shangyu, Immortal Taishan, hurry up and help the Netherworld sect. The experts of the Primeval sect, the three Primeval sect, and the Heavenly Court roared at the same time. They quickly activated their battle formations and besieged Xinghui. However, before their battle formations could approach Xinghui and show signs of encirclement, the speed of the 12th level flying sword, the Skysplitter, burst out like a stream of light. In an instant, it tore through the sonic boom with a deafening roar and left the battle formations of the Primeval sect, the three Primeval sect, and the Heavenly Court far behind. Then, taking advantage of the moment when the three Primeval sects' battle formation had a flaw because they were anxious to help the Netherworld sect, a sword light that was not inferior to that of the Netherworld sect had already descended. Watch out. This kind of sword chi. Isn't it said that only the eruption of the gold core can produce an attack like this? How can he continuously produce a second and third slash? The power and heat contained in this sword strike is like a falling sun. Its might is unparalleled. I can't block it, I can't block it. The three Purities sects battle formation followed closely behind the Netherworld sects battle formation. They followed in the footsteps of the Netherworld sect amidst a series of blood-curdling screams. Blood and flames filled the sky as at least 6 true energy and transcendent experts were slain on the spot by the scattered sword light. 3 unending realm and core formation experts also fell in a single breath. Ah, die for me. When they saw this, the people of the Purple Cloud Palace finally lost their patience. They bellowed out, and the power of the battle formation swept out once again. 19 core formation and endless cultivators combined with 33 true essence and transformative cultivators to form an attack that was like a destructive flood, directly blasting towards Qing Su, who had just swung his sword at the three Purities sect. Will it work? Xing Hui's expression was indifferent. With a flash of the Skysplitter, he instantly withdrew from the Primeval sect's attack. However, the moment he dodged the destructive wave, it suddenly turned and charged towards Xinghui again. It was as if it had already locked onto his body. Die! Reverend Tianzhu, Reverend Shangyu, Reverend Taishan, and Xiang Jun all roared at the same time. They seemed to have placed all their hopes on this attack. Unfortunately, Xinghui had not used his full strength when he slashed out the sword light earlier. Although he could no longer use the Skysplitter to dodge the Primeval sect's attack, but, buzz! Crimson light soared into the heavens. Xinghui swung the Scarlet Abyss sword behind him. The sovereign golden core in the Scarlet Abyss sword trembled slightly, and a blazing sword light that was not much weaker than before erupted from the void. In an instant, it collided with the destructive torrent created by the battle formation formed by the Saints of the Purple Cloud Palace. For a moment, the torrent of energy that filled the sky was cleaved apart by the sword light. Powerful immortal arts and energy sputtered and shattered in all directions. Many of the energies even fell to the ground, tearing apart the dignified and elegant buildings of the Purple Cloud Palace. The palaces and pavilions collapsed one after another. Even the mountain where the square was located had a large number of cracks. If it were not for the fact that the Purple Cloud Palace had used a secret technique to reinforce the mountain, the energy torrent alone would have been enough to tear the entire mountain apart. Damn it, he can still use his sword. How is this possible? Enlightened Master Tianzhu, Enlightened Master Shangyu, and Enlightened Master Taishan were stunned. They were not the only ones. Even the people of the Taishu sect, the Sanqing sect, the Heavenly Court, and the crippled Netherworld sect were shocked. How can we fight this? It seems like you're using a guidance and lock-on immortal art. This immortal art is extraordinary, but Xing Hui's body shook as he performed the immortal art reversal of yin and yang. The next moment, a middle-aged woman in the Purple Cloud Palace who was dressed as a Taoist nun and holding a compass in her hands suddenly changed her expression. I can't sense his aura. It's the yin-yang reversal art. Moreover, it's at least at the initial stage of the yin-yang reversal art. How did Dong Yang cultivate the yin-yang reversal art, which is said to be the most difficult to cultivate, to such a level in just a few years? He has the fortune divine jade. If he uses 3 months to comprehend the yin-yang reversal art with the fortune divine jade, why can't he cultivate this supreme immortal art to the initial stage? If we can't lock onto him, how are we going to fight him? Even if we form a battle formation, we'll suffer great losses. Moreover, his speed is so fast that ordinary true element realm experts can't catch up with him. Even the elders above the transcendent realm have to use some of their true essence to strengthen their eyesight to catch up with him. How are we going to fight him? Moreover, the most terrifying thing is that he possesses such terrifying speed and sharpness that none of us here, or even any of us, can defend against his attacks. If he realizes that he is no match for us and turns around to flee, which of us can stop him? Xiang Hong, the palace master of the Central Plains General Palace of the Purple Cloud Palace, said while trembling. His words shocked the people of the Purple Cloud Palace who were trying to figure out how to lock onto Tsing Hui's body again. That's right, Dong Yang possessed such a fearsome flying speed and was able to easily tear through their defensive line with his powerful attacks. If he realized that he was no match for them and turned around to escape, how were they going to stop him? How were they going to stop him? With the invincible combat strength that Tsing Hui had displayed, he could destroy a great sect by himself. In fact, if he was willing to spend some time and use the method of fighting while retreating, he could rely on his speed advantage to drag out all the experts of the 6 supreme sects, and the 6 supreme sects would not be able to do anything to him at all. This was a battle that was destined to be lost. This was an encirclement that was destined to be fruitless. If they continued to fight, it would only end with the defeat of all the experts of the 5 great sections. We can't hold on any longer. The Netherworld sect can't hold on any longer. If this goes on, the entire Netherworld sect will be annihilated. We'll retreat first. At this moment, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva from the Netherworld sect roared in grief and quickly retreated into the Purple Cloud Palace with a dozen or so cultivators of the Netherworld sect. Almost all of the surviving experts were injured, and a few of them were even in danger of losing their lives. This was because Tsing Hui, who had just dodged the attack of the Purple Cloud Palace, had seized the opportunity to strike the Netherworld sect again. This strike was the last straw that broke the camel's back. The Netherworld sect no longer had any fighting spirit and quickly retreated. The Taishir sect, the Sanqing sect, the Heavenly Court, and the Purple Cloud Palace could not say anything about this. More than half of the Netherworld sect's experts had been killed, and they could not even maintain the battle formation. If they continued to fight, they would indeed be in danger of being completely annihilated. The Netherworld sect had already been extremely benevolent for being able to hold on until now. Stop! Seeing the Netherworld sect retreat, the great emperors of the Heavenly Court finally collapsed. Tsing Hui had already dealt with the Netherworld sect and was now free to continue fighting them. Great Emperor Taihao, who was in the lead, immediately shouted, "Your Excellency Dong Yang, please stop. The Heavenly Court is willing to withdraw from this encirclement. On behalf of the Heavenly Court, I promise to Your Excellency Dong Yang that the Heavenly Court will no longer be your enemy." No more enemies. Just no more enemies. Tsing Hui's charging figure paused slightly, and his expression was indifferent. Do you think that's enough? I only have one request, and that is to submit. From now on, the Heavenly Court will follow my orders. Great Emperor Taihao's face turned sullen when he heard Tsing Hui's words. Your Excellency Dong Yang, don't go too far. The number of experts that the Heavenly Court sent here is less than half of our total. If you really don't give up and want to annihilate the Heavenly Court will definitely come out in full force and fight you to the death. When the time comes, the end result will be mutual destruction. Mutual destruction. You think too highly of the Heavenly Court. Tsing Hui said, the Heavenly Court may have less than half of the experts that the other sects sent to kill me, but you should have at least 40%. However, even if you include all the experts in the Heavenly Court, do you think you can beat the lineup of the 5 sects? Do you think the Heavenly Court can squeeze out over 100 true energy realm and transcendent realm experts and 30 to 40 unending realm and core formation realm experts? Impossible. I'm not even afraid of the five-sect alliance. I dared to step into your territory alone with a sword and defeat you. Do you think I'm afraid of a mere sect? You, great Emperor Taihao's face was filled with anger. He wanted to rebuke loudly, but when he opened his mouth, he realized that he couldn't find a reason to refute. The Heavenly Court. What right did the Heavenly Court have to fight against this terrifying existence that could be said to be invincible? Right now, I'm only here to let you all understand the gap between us. That's why I'm fighting the five-sect alliance head-on. However, all of you should know that my greatest advantage is my speed. Once I don't choose to fight head-on with you and instead utilize my advantage of speed to charge into your sect's encampment time and time again, I'll defeat the members of your five great sects one by one. How long can you last? Xing Hui said. His words made the hearts of the Tripurities sect, Purple Cloud Palace, and Taishir sect who were reorganizing their battle formations turn cold. Speed. Xing Hui was right. His most terrifying point was his speed. The unparalleled speed of a 12th grade flying sword. If he really planned to use his advantage of speed to defeat the five great sects one by one, how could the five sacred sects resist him? Chapter 558. The five supreme sects were no match for the terrifying existence named Dongyang. Even if they worked together, the other party only needed to rely on the advantage of speed and the fierce attacks that no one could block, and could easily kill 7 of them. If he wanted to kill someone, no one could stop him. If he wanted to destroy any sect, it was only a matter of time. This was an encirclement that was destined to fail. This was an encirclement where there was no hope. When Qing Su displayed astonishing attacks and speed, crushing the Netherworld sect like they were taking something out of their pocket despite being surrounded by the five supreme sects, they had already come to understand this cruel reality. Dongyang was unstoppable. Dongyang was invincible. The era that belonged to the 6 supreme sects would end with Dongyang's appearance. The Fortune mainland would usher in an era where Dongyang was supreme. No. No, I don't believe it. I don't believe you have this ability. I don't believe. Xiang Jun of the Purple Cloud Palace had a ferocious look on his face. He couldn't accept that the disciple of the Purple Cloud Palace, who they had forced to swallow their anger and leave in the past, had grown to the point where he could rule the Fortune mainland. If the Purple Cloud Palace really submitted to Xing Hui, from that day onwards, even a lofty grand elder like him would have to look up to Xing Hui and act according to his mood. Such a huge difference made him almost go crazy. Huh? Xing Hui's gaze immediately fell on Xiang Jun. Although Gaochen wasn't here, he didn't have a good impression of this grand elder of the Purple Cloud Palace. There's one thing I haven't told you. I haven't used the secret technique to unleash the power of my gold core. The attacks that defeated the Netherworld sect and rendered you helpless were just a series of ordinary sword techniques. Today, I'll let you know how powerful a peerless gold core cultivator can unleash the power of his gold core. After Xing Hui finished speaking, he didn't give the people of the Purple Cloud Palace a chance to refuse. In the next moment, the sword intent in the deep scarlet sword soared into the sky. In the void, a majestic sword shadow that was burning with dazzling flames suddenly appeared. A terrifying pressure that was several times more powerful than before swept out from this majestic sword shadow that was thousands of meters in diameter. The terrifying heat emitted from the sword shadow alone was enough to set the clouds and the void ablaze. As soon as the sword shadow was formed, an apocalyptic aura shrouded the hearts of everyone present. No! Stop! Stop! I believe in your ability. When Taoist Master Tianzhu of the Purple Cloud Palace saw that Xing Hui had condensed such a powerful and terrifying sword shadow that was suffocating, his eyes suddenly widened. He hurriedly shouted in horror, trying to stop Xing Hui. However, Xing Hui, who had already made up his mind to make an example of him, had no intention of stopping. The sword shadow condensed, and in the next moment, this majestic sword shadow that was more than 3,000 meters in diameter swept out with an invincible power that could split heaven and earth. It was aimed at the people of the Purple Cloud Palace and brazenly slashed down. Just the changes in the primordial chi caused by the swing of the sword's shadow had already caused violent turbulence within a radius of dozens of kilometers. The primordial chi under the sword's shadow even cracked and exploded layer by layer under the pressure, forming circles of air waves that could be seen with the naked eye. Such a terrifying sword strike. Not to mention the people of the Purple Cloud Palace who bore the brunt of it, even the people of the Taisher sect, the Sanqing sect, and the Heavenly Court who were watching from the side were stunned. This is a divine power. A divine power. A true divine power. This is a true divine power, the power of a divine power that is invincible, the power of a divine power that makes people despair and suffocate. What are we doing? We actually want to fight against such a vast and invincible power. How can this kind of power be resisted by cultivators? Facing this kind of power, what can we use to resist? The many cultivators of the Taisher sect, the Sanqing sect, and the Heavenly Court, whether it was the core formation realm cultivators who had lived for thousands of years or the true energy realm cultivators who had just condensed primordial chi and stepped into the ranks of experts, all of them let out painful and desperate cries. In particular, the many experts of the Purple Cloud Palace who were facing this majestic sword strike were all in pain and madness. Invincible. Invincible. This was an invincible power. And they had actually stupidly chosen to stand in front of this invincible power. No. Rumble. Amid Jinren Tianzhu's miserable roar and the desperate counterattack of the remaining people who could not raise any fighting spirit, a violent explosion spread out. Xiang Jun, who bore the brunt of the attack, was the first to let out a miserable cry and turned into ashes. Endless primordial chi fluctuations mixed with the dissipated blazing sword light shot out in all directions. The space where the people from the Purple Cloud Palace were was swept away by the 3,000-meter-long sword light and turned into nothingness. The remaining power, which did not diminish in the slightest, surged into the ground below them, tearing a huge crack with a diameter of more than 30 kilometers. Countless boulders flew thousands of meters into the air, and a large amount of sand and dust filled a radius of dozens of kilometers. The mountain where the palaces were located finally collapsed amidst a series of rumbles. The countless buildings built on the mountain also collapsed completely. Then, it seemed as if they were going to be completely buried together with the glory that the Purple Cloud Palace had built over the years. Suffocation. Suffocation. A sword strike that was so powerful that it made people suffocate. Looking at the huge mountain that had collapsed with a loud rumble, as well as the sword mark that had left a huge hole in the ground after cutting through the mountain peak. All the experts of the Primeval sect, the Heavenly Court, the Three Primeval sect, and the Netherworld sect who had fled into the void to avoid the collapse of the mountain were silent and suffocated. After a long while, Honorable Tai Hung of the Primeval sect was the first to wake up from this despairingly powerful sword light. Trembling, he shouted at Xing Hui, the Primeval sect admits defeat. From now on, the entire Primeval sect will follow Lord Dong Yang's orders. Honorable Tai Heng's shout completely broke the suffocating atmosphere in front of him. Emperor Taihao of the Heavenly Court, who was originally somewhat unwilling, hurriedly followed suit and shouted, "The Heavenly Court admits defeat." The entire Heavenly Court is also willing to follow Lord Dong Yang's orders and respect Lord Dong Yang. The Three Purities sect struggled for a while. However, when they saw that only Reverend Tianzhu, Reverend Shangyu, and Palace Master Xiang Hong had survived the sword strike, they trembled in fear. We, the Three Purities sect, are also willing to follow Lord Dongyang's orders. Oh. Xing Hui held his sword and looked at the people of the Three Primeval sect, the Heavenly Court, and the Primeval sect. I thought it would take a bit more effort. After all, the experts here are basically only 40% of the experts of the 6 supreme sections. 60% of them are still not here. For this, I can leave the divine art and wait for your desperate counterattack. What, you don't plan on resisting? The divine art, everyone present trembled when they heard Qing Su mention that this high-class son of primal chaos possessed a divine technique that could raise a cultivator's level by an entire realm. Although the Chaos Shrine said that the increase in strength of Golden Core experts using the divine art was not as exaggerated as the increase in strength of other realms, it was still only hearsay and no one had verified it. Xing Hui, who had not used the divine art, was already so strong that it was suffocating. If he really used the divine art, his strength would skyrocket by a whole realm. When they thought of this, everyone shuddered. Extermination. Senior Dong Yang really had the ability to exterminate the 6 supreme sects of the Fortune mainland by himself. The Primeval Sect, 3 Primeval Sect, and the Heavenly Court have already made their stance clear. What about the Netherworld Sect and the Purple Cloud Palace? Xing Hui stood in the void with his sword in hand and glanced at the Netherworld Sect members hiding in the Purple Cloud Palace. Then, his gaze fell on Reverend Tianzhu, Reverend Shangyu, and the others who had luckily survived the sword strike. From today onwards, the Netherworld Sect is willing to follow Lord Dong Yang's orders. The Purple Cloud Palace is also convinced. Our Purple Cloud Palace is also convinced. We will ask the headquarters of the Pillar of Heaven's Mountains to submit to Lord Dong Yang. Reverend Tianzhu's body trembled, and his heart was bleeding little by little. Just a little bit slower, just a little bit slower. It was because he was too slow in submitting that 1/3 of the Purple Cloud Palace's strength was gone. This was the foundation that the Purple Cloud Palace had accumulated for hundreds of years. In the end, it was completely destroyed by Xing Hui's Golden Core Sword Strike. Even if he, Tianzhu, died 1,000 times, he would not be able to atone for this mistake. Very good, you should have made this decision long ago so that your sects wouldn't have lost so many masters in vain. Look at the number of cultivators that have fallen here today, not to mention the number, there are at least 70 to 80 of them. Moreover, all of them were at least at the true element boundary. These are our Fortune Mainland's elites, and also the pillars of your sections. It's such a pity that they were sacrificed in vain because of your wrong decision. Xing Hui said in a regretful tone. But, no one dared to come out and criticize him. Instead, everyone was like Xing Hui had said. Their hearts were filled with self-blame and annoyance. If Xing Hui's cultivation was just a little bit higher than theirs, even if they submitted, there would still be a strong resentment in their hearts. However, Xing Hui's sword strike was not inferior to the divine ability of an almighty expert. It had already crushed all their fighting spirit. In addition, Xing Hui had powerful mobility, he didn't need to do too much. As long as he killed his way to their sects and gave them such a sword strike, 3 to 5 sword strikes would be enough to completely destroy their sections. Not to mention, the other party still had a powerful divine art that could raise his cultivation by an entire realm. If the other party used the divine art to slash out with a golden core sword strike, their sect's foundations would be razed to the ground. Therefore, at this moment, no one dared to harbor the slightest hatred towards Xing Hui. Some people were even secretly grateful to Senior Dong Yang. Senior Dong Yang clearly had the ability to completely annihilate them, occupy the Fortune Mainland, and become the uncrowned king of the Fortune Mainland. However, he was still willing to give them a way out. This kind of magnanimity was worthy of their allegiance. Ha ha ha, fellow Taoists, my great son Divine Palace has arrived late. This time, more than half of our great son Divine Palace's experts have moved out together. We will definitely make this little thief unable to hide. Whoosh! Whoosh! Just as the 5 supreme sects submitted to Xing Hui at the same time and expressed their attitude, a burst of laughter suddenly sounded from the horizon. Then, 50 to 60 sword lights tore through the sky at an extremely fast speed and rushed over. The ones in the lead were the Great Sun Divine Palace's Venerable Great Sun, Venerable Scarlet Dragon, Venerable Tai Jin, and a few others who held absolute authority in the Great Sun Divine Palace. Chapter 559. It's the Great Sun Divine Palace. The Great Sun Divine Palace is finally here, but even if the Great Sun Divine Palace's people are here, will they be of any use? Seeing the dozens of sword lights approaching from afar, everyone was a little excited at first, but everyone's heart sank when they thought of the terrifying sword strike Xing Hui used to defeat the dozens of experts from the Purple Cloud Palace. It was useless. Not to mention that the Great Sun Divine Palace didn't send out all their experts. Even if they sent all their experts, it wouldn't be of any use. Facing this mysterious expert, Dong Yang, they simply couldn't defeat him. Numbers didn't mean much. How did the Purple Cloud Palace become like this? Did a huge battle just happen here? The Venerable Red Dragon was Lu Crimson Dragon of the Great Sun Divine Palace. He glanced at the Purple Cloud Palace and his expression turned serious. After a short while, his gaze landed on Xing Hui, who seemed like a king descending from the sky. It's you. Dong Yang. You dare to appear in front of us so openly. Fortunately, before Lu Crimson Dragon could continue, the palace master of the Great Sun Divine Palace had already sensed that something was wrong with the atmosphere. He glanced at the destroyed mountains of the Purple Cloud Palace, then glanced at the people of the Purple Cloud Palace, the Three Purities sect, and the Netherworld sect who had suffered heavy casualties before glancing at Qing Su who remained composed and fearless. He pulled the Venerable Scarlet Dragon back in a hurry and looked in the direction of Emperor Gao Yang, who he was rather close with, in surprise and doubt. Emperor Gao Yang, what happened? Why did you? Emperor Gao Yang didn't intend to trick his good friend. He shook his head and said in a low voice, Lord Dong Yang used his unparalleled power to suppress the 5 great sections. Now, the 5 great sects are willing to obey Lord Dong Yang. From now on, the Heavenly Court and the other forces will follow Lord Dong Yang's orders. After saying that, he advised, the Great Sun Divine Palace better not go against Lord Dong Yang's orders. Lord Dong Yang's strength is not something your Great Sun Divine Palace can imagine. Emperor Gao Yang's words instantly caused the expressions of everyone present to change slightly. This was especially so for those from the Great Sun Divine Palace who had just arrived and hadn't personally witnessed Xing Hui's supreme techniques. They were unable to accept this result. It seems like everyone from the Great Sun Divine Palace still has some doubts about whether or not they will obey me. Xing Hui stood with his hands behind his back. He looked at the reinforcements from the Great Sun Divine Palace in the sky. He turned to the Taisher sect, Sanqing sect, Heavenly Court and the others and said, now, it's time for you to perform. Since the Great Sun Divine Palace doesn't want to believe this, then use your performance too. Before Qing Su had even finished, Xing Ji had already called out, please calm down, Mr. Dong Yang. Please calm down, Mr. Dong Yang. Our Great Sun Divine Hall has only just arrived, so we don't know the rules. Please forgive us, Senior Dong Yang. Our Great Sun Divine Hall definitely has no intentions of opposing the 5 supreme sections. Since the 5 sects have all submitted to Mr. Dong Yang, our Great Sun Divine Hall is obviously willing to follow Senior Dong Yang's orders. You don't have the right to give orders on such matters. A bad-tempered Great Elder of the Great Sun Divine Palace shouted angrily at Xing Ji. Great Elder, do you really want to go against the 5 sects? Xing Ji said angrily to the Great Elder. At the same time, he quickly sent a message to the Great Elder and told him to pass it on to the others. This message was sent to him by Emperor Gao Yang. It was because of this message that he changed his stance without hesitation. The Great Elders of the Great Sun Divine Palace were originally dissatisfied with Xing Ji's decision. However, when they received Xing Ji's message and understood what happened, their faces changed drastically. How is this possible? He killed 46 experts of the Purple Cloud Palace with one strike, including 15 terrifying existences in the Endless Realm and the Core Formation Realm. Am I listening to a heavenly book? Divine Art. Divine Art. Divine Art from the peak experts of the Chaos Divine Palace? Divine art that only powerful existences can use? Dong Yang relied on the advantage of a divine weapon to be able to unleash a divine art that isn't inferior to a powerful existence's divine art? Suppressing the 5 supreme sects with one strike alone. Oh my god, how can someone above the Golden Core realm be so powerful? Can quality really make up for quantity? The people of the Great Sun Divine Palace were all shocked after understanding the message. Their faces were filled with disbelief. However, after Emperor Gao Yang's message, no one dared to clamor for a life-and-death battle with Tsing Hui. Tsing Hui didn't say anything about this. He had already achieved the effect of deterrence. If the people of the Great Sun Divine Palace were really stubborn and wanted to fight with him, then he didn't mind letting them all die here. However, if he could solve this problem without fighting, then he wouldn't force it. Very good. It seems like the 6 supreme sects have already understood your position. Do you want to send a message to your respective headquarters to confirm it? If they're still unwilling, I don't mind letting them experience the might of my Scarlet Abyss sword. Tsing Hui's gaze swept across the 6 supreme sects' upper echelons as he spoke in a solemn voice. No need, no need. Our heavenly court won't dare to offend Lord Dongyang again. Yes, yes. From today onwards, Lord Dongyang is the Grand Elder of our Netherworld sect. The entire Netherworld sect will obey Lord Dongyang's orders. Lord Dongyang must be joking. With Lord Dongyang's ability, if he wants to unify the Fortune Mainland and become the Supreme King of the Fortune Mainland, who would dare to oppose him? The people of the other forces immediately chimed in when Huang Xiaolong's gaze swept across them. Among the people who spoke were Lu Qilong, Lu Xingji, Lu Jihua, and the others from the Great Sun Divine Palace, as well as the Palace Master of the Purple Firmament Palace's Central Earth Branch, Xiang Hong. However, as they spoke, their hearts were filled with a myriad of emotions. Looking at Tsing Hui in front of them, none of them could have imagined that the genius who had displayed his brilliance during the Fortune Mainland's grand meeting would grow to such an extent. With his strength alone, he was able to force everyone to submit to him and become the uncrowned king of the Fortune Mainland. Then, I will now issue my first order. This Purple Firmament Palace will be renovated, and from today onwards, it will be my residence. Other than the Burning Sky sect's people, everyone else from the Purple Firmament Palace will move out. However, the 6 supreme sects will have to leave a group of people here to listen to my orders. Tsing Hui said. When they heard that Qing Su did not seem to plan on raiding their sects, they immediately let out a sigh of relief as if a heavy burden had been lifted off their shoulders. They replied in a hurry, "We will obey Master Dongyang's orders." Even the Purple Firmament Palace wasn't dissatisfied with giving away this palace. After all, it was just one of their branches. Even though it was luxurious and grand, it wouldn't hurt the Purple Firmament Palace even if they gave it away. As for the Burning Sky sect, they didn't know where their luck came from, but they actually managed to cling on to Lord Dongyang. From today onwards, this first-rate sect would rise completely. In 100 years, or even 1,000 years, it wouldn't be difficult for them to grow into the 7th supreme sect. The second order is that within a month, all sects are to make a copy of their celestial arts and send it to me. If I discover that any of the sects are to make a copy of their celestial arts and send it to me, I will kill one of their grand elders. At the end of this order, a cold light flashed in Tsing Hui's eyes. His killing intent was biting cold, making the experts of the 5 supreme sects who had just experienced Tsing Hui's supreme ferociousness tremble in their hearts. Even the people of the Great Sun Divine Palace didn't dare to take the lead and say a word when they saw the expressions of the other 5 supreme sections. Next is the third order. Regarding the mysterious runes in the ancestral land of the Purple Firmament Palace, any of the 6 supreme sects who have studied these mysterious runes must escort those people and their research materials to me as soon as possible. Furthermore, any request of these researchers will be unconditionally satisfied. At that time, I will establish a research organization with Sikong Ming of the Purple Firmament Palace as the leader, called the Divine Rune Pavilion. The authority of the Divine Rune Pavilion is above all other forces, and it is only responsible to me. Anyone who dares to obstruct the research of the Divine Rune Pavilion will be regarded as defying my decision. At that time, no matter who you are, I will personally visit you. The Divine Rune Pavilion? Study those mysterious runes? Does Senior Dongyang want to understand the information of those mysterious runes? When everyone heard what Tsing Hui said, they immediately guessed his intentions. Although the authority of the Divine Rune Pavilion was extremely high after its establishment, they reckoned that the Divine Rune Pavilion wouldn't have much of an impact on their own interests, so they agreed readily. Senior Dong Yang, don't worry. I will send all the people in the Heavenly Court who have some understanding of the mysterious runes here. Our Three Purities sect has also collected a lot of similar information. I believe it will be of great benefit to Senior Dong Yang to order people to study these mysterious runes. We will do our best to carry out Senior Dong Yang's orders. The leaders of the various sects all agreed. Good. Xing Hui nodded. Then, his gaze fell on the people of the Three Purities sect. Suddenly, Honorable Jian Xi, Honorable Guangfa, and the others of the Three Purities sect were frightened. They hurriedly and carefully asked, Sir, what are your orders? I remember that your Three Purities sect has a never-ending realm elder called Divine Breath. Xing Hui's eyes flashed. Divine Breath sect once humiliated the Burning Sky sect and killed an elder of the Burning Sky sect. Back then, I borrowed the Burning Sky sect's 6 blazing mystic fire formation to condense my battle body. The Burning Sky sect has done me a small favor. Furthermore, as the first force to rely on me, I naturally have to uphold justice for them. Hand over Divine Breath. When Honorable Guangfa heard this, a trace of sadness flashed across his eyes. Senior Dong Yang, I'm afraid we can no longer hand over this person to you. During the battle just now, you slashed into our Three Purities sect's battle formation with your sword. We lost 2 never-ending realm elders and 1 core formation realm elder. Elder Divine Breath was one of the 2 never-ending realm elders who died. Oh? Xing Hui looked at Honorable Guangfa. From his and the Three Purities sect's reactions, he could tell that Honorable Guangfa was not lying. Although it was somewhat coincidental, Divine Breath was already dead. Xing Hui could not be bothered to pursue the matter. Then, let's do it this way. Now, return to your respective sects and bring back all the immortal techniques and information related to the mysterious runes in your sections. I don't wish for such a small matter to require my personal attention. You have to know that I've already been merciful to all of you. Don't exhaust my patience. Yes, Lord Dong Yang. Rest assured, we will definitely do as you say. We'll go and urge the people in our sects to send over all the people related to the mysterious runes in the Purple Cloud Palace's ancestral land. Since Lord Dong Yang has given the order, the Heavenly Court will definitely do it properly. Many sects agreed one after another. Xing Hui nodded slightly without commenting. Then, he waved his hand. Go! Chapter 560. A month passed by quickly. During this 1 month, the situation on the Fortune mainland changed drastically. Everyone knew that a peerless master had appeared out of nowhere and suppressed the 6 supreme sections. He had killed countless experts from the 6 supreme sects, making it difficult for the 6 supreme sects experts to breathe. Fortunately, although this peerless master had suppressed the entire Fortune mainland, he was only one person. Even with the Burning Sky sect's help, they weren't completely loyal to him. How could he order them around like an extension of his arm? Even so, the 6 supreme sects weren't affected too much. They only had an existence above their heads that could order them around. In addition, Xing Hui's performance in the Battle of the Purple Firmament Palace was too shocking. After a month of settling down, the 6 supreme sects gradually acquiesced to Xing Hui's rule. They didn't dare to disobey his orders. Even those who disobeyed in public but disobeyed in private also disappeared to avoid angering Xing Hui again and bringing disaster to their sections. Grand Elder, the Netherworld sect's people have arrived. They have been waiting outside for 2 days. In Xing Hui's courtyard, the Burning Sky sect's sect master Rockhart reported respectfully. The Netherworld sect's people have arrived. Xing Hui said and put down a jade talisman in his hand. This jade talisman recorded a supreme immortal technique from the Grand Beginning sect. It was also known as one of the most difficult immortal techniques to comprehend, future reversal. This was a supreme immortal technique that was said to be able to see through the river of time and predict the future. Unfortunately, even though the Grand Beginning sect had comprehended this supreme immortal technique from the creation jade, not to mention mastering it, there were very few people who had reached the initial mastery of it in the past few thousand years. Currently, there were only 2 or 3 people in the Grand Beginning sect who had reached the initial mastery of this supreme immortal technique that allowed one to see through space and time. As for the initial mastery of reversing the future, at best, under certain special circumstances, it could allow one to predict the future on a whim. Even if one could predict the future, these images would be fragmented and difficult to form a system. It was even more impossible to organize a complete framework of events from these images. The effect was close to zero. This was evident from the fact that the Grand Beginning sect hadn't predicted that Xing Hui could suppress the entire Fortune mainland and subdue the 6 supreme sections. It is said that the Netherworld sect's eminent elder, Zhou Qing, has also spent his entire life studying these mysterious runes. I wonder if the information he brought will be of help to Xikong Ming and the others. Xing Hui said and immediately ordered Rockheart, "Let Zhou Qing go to the Divine Rune Pavilion to meet Elder Xikong Ming. As for the Netherworld sect's people, I will meet them later." "Yes, Elder." Rockheart complied and immediately went to carry out Zhou Qing's orders. Reversing the future, peeking into the long river of time. It's simply an unimaginable divine ability. Unfortunately, I've flipped through it and carefully comprehended it, but I still don't know what it's talking about. It's really worthy of being called the first of the 3 most difficult celestial arts to comprehend. It seems that if I want to comprehend this celestial art, I'll have to rely on the Fortune Divine Jade. Unfortunately, all the Dao-carrying items I have now have to be prepared for the Great Divine Ability or even the Supreme Divine Ability as soon as I reach the perfected Gold Core stage. Xing Hui said with some regret. He could sense that if he wanted to comprehend the supreme immortal art of future reversal, then he had to either have an extremely compatible characteristic with the supreme immortal art or rely on the Fortune Divine Jade. Since future reversal was one of the 3 supreme celestial techniques that were the most difficult to comprehend, the amount of Fortune Divine Jade's energy required to cultivate it to the rudimentary stage, initial stage, or even the phenomenal stage was absolutely astronomical. At that time, he would have to spend hundreds or even thousands of Daoist rhymes to fill the hole in the Fortune Divine Jade's energy. This was unacceptable for him who was currently lacking in Daoist rhymes. After putting away the jade talisman that recorded the future reversal into his personal space, Xing Hui stood up. As the people outside saluted him respectfully, he flashed across the Purple Cloud Palace and went directly to the Divine Rune Pavilion, which was built outside the ancestral land of the Purple Cloud Palace. Xing Hui couldn't wait to understand the meaning behind the mysterious runes in the Purple Cloud Palace's ancestral land. It would be best if he could activate the array formed by the mysterious runes and see what would happen. Under such circumstances, the newly established Divine Rune Pavilion would naturally have a supreme status. Anything that the Divine Rune Pavilion needed, the 6 supreme sects would have to agree unconditionally. Even if it was their sect's most precious treasure, they would have to obediently hand it over for the Divine Rune Pavilion to study. Otherwise, Xing Hui would have to personally take it. At that time, it wouldn't be as simple as just taking away a sect's most precious treasure. Under such circumstances, the Divine Rune Pavilion had a transcendent status on the Fortune mainland. Although it hadn't been long since the Divine Rune Pavilion's establishment, it was foreseeable that as time passed, the number of researchers on the mysterious runes would increase, and the speed of their research would increase. In the long run, there was a high possibility that the entire Fortune mainland's cultivators who didn't have high talent would change their profession to become mysterious rune researchers. Greetings, Grand Elder. Greetings, Lord Dongyang. When Xing Hui arrived at the Divine Rune Pavilion, 6 experts appeared at the same time. These 6 experts represented the Endless Realm experts of the Purple Cloud Palace, Great Sun Divine Palace, and Heavenly Court. Each sect had 2 Endless Realm experts, and they were responsible for the safety of the Divine Rune Pavilion. When Xing Hui appeared, he nodded his head at them and didn't say anything else. He directly stepped into the Divine Rune Pavilion. Not long after, Si Chioin, who had heard the news, came up to him. She said with a hint of fear in her voice, "Lord Dongyang, you're here. Grandfather said that he's at a crucial point in his research. The runes brought by the Netherworld sect seem to have made great progress in their research. That's why he didn't come out to greet you. Please forgive him. It's fine. Xing Hui knew that once a researcher like Si Kongming was fully immersed in his research, he would be quite repulsed by the outside world. He didn't blame Si Kongming, but rather, he praised Si Kongming's attitude. It seems that with Senior Si Kongming leading the team, I'll be able to obtain satisfactory results very soon. In this month, we've been comparing the information in our hands with the information of the other 5 great sections. In addition, the number of researchers we have has increased by 10 times compared to before. Our manpower and material resources are also far greater than before. The speed of our progress is extremely fast. Si Chioyin's eyes were filled with faint joy. After a moment, she seemed to realize that it was impolite to let Xing Hui stand there and talk to her. She hurriedly waved her hand and said, Senior Dong Yang, please come in. I'll bring you to see the results of our research. Okay. Xing Hui nodded and followed Si Chioyin into the Divine Rune Pavilion. In the interior of the Divine Inscription Pavilion, one could clearly see researchers walking back and forth with their hands full of papers and jade-like materials. From time to time, there would even be people carrying stones from other places. These stones all had traces of mysterious runic inscriptions on them. When Xing Hui found Si Kongming was in the middle of a discussion with several old researchers. He didn't notice Xing Hui's arrival at all. Si Chioyin wanted to remind him, but Xing Hui waved his hand to stop her. The Fortune Divine Jade was a supreme divine object of the Fortune mainland. When it first appeared, it naturally attracted the attention of countless sections. Even though the Purple Firmament Palace was strong enough to stand shoulder to shoulder with the other supreme sects, it still couldn't stop others from peeking at it. Therefore, the research of the mysterious runes and the origin of the Fortune Divine Jade had always been the focus of the 6 supreme sects' research. Unfortunately, because there hadn't been any progress for a long time, the 6 supreme sects' support for these researchers was getting smaller and smaller. Now that Xing Hui was focusing on this matter, the status of all the researchers soared to the sky. In addition, Xing Hui forcibly gathered all the researchers of the 6 supreme sects together, and with the support of countless people and material resources, these researchers actually managed to find some clues. After listening for a while, Xing Hui couldn't help but ask, according to what you said, you can already restore the formation formed by the mysterious runes? After Xing Hui's interruption, Si Kongming, Zhou Qing, and the researchers from other sects seemed to have sensed his arrival. They immediately saluted, greetings, Lord Dong Yang. Xing Hui waved his hand, answer my question. You can restore the formation. Yes, we can restore the formation. However, even though we can restore the formation, we still can't guarantee the formation's function and whether it can be activated smoothly. Furthermore, we discovered that restoring the formation involves a precious resource called the Void Crystal Stone. Without the Void Crystal Stone, the formation can't be set up. In addition, if we want to activate the formation, we need a special kind of energy. Through this special energy and the Void Crystal Stone, the formation can only be activated. This energy should be related to space. Space? Xing Hui frowned. Space was a mysterious energy that only true Saint Realm experts could come into contact with. Moreover, it wasn't the first layer of the Saint Realm, but the second layer of the Saint Realm, Insightful Void. Only Insightful Void Realm experts in the second layer of the Saint Realm could find the space nodes and capture the trajectory of space. From there, they could launch attacks that transcended space. The Qing Su's Scarlet Abyss Sword was affected by the power of the Torch Dragon's godhood, so when it swung out, it bewitched people's minds. It was as if it could strike its target and kill its opponent the moment it struck out, as if it had transcended space. However, this was actually just an application of sword intent. The moment the sword intent erupted with sword chi, it would stun people's souls, causing their minds to scatter. By the time they woke up, the strike would have already landed on their body, which was why it felt like the strike had struck its target the moment it struck out. As for insightful Void Realm experts, they could turn this kind of attack into reality. This was the reason why insightful Void Realm experts were 10 times stronger than Grand Domain Realm experts. Void Crystal Stone, the power of space. I will think of a way to solve this problem. As for you guys, try to restore the formation as soon as possible. At the same time, figure out the true function of this formation. I don't want to open a door to hell the moment this formation is activated and bring disaster to the entire Fortune mainland. We understand. Please rest assured, Lord, we will definitely be able to figure out the true function of this formation in 3 to 5 months. Si Kongming promised solemnly. Good, then I will wait for your news. Chapter 561. Spatial Crystal. When Xing Hui returned to his room, he immediately immersed himself in understanding the spatial crystal. For this reason, he kept diverting his attention into the Chaos Divine Palace to read the books that Firmament had collected. Nothing. Qing Su frowned. Originally, he did not want to trouble the Heaven's Domain Master with something so trivial, but the spatial crystal was directly related to whether he could return to Earth as soon as possible. As a matter of fact, even if the formation failed to return him to Earth, it would definitely be closely related to Dongqian and the mysterious ancient god, June. As a result, he could not let go of this hope so easily. Whoosh. Mobilizing the space power of the Firmament realm, Xing Hui's body shuttled and appeared outside Firmament Master's courtyard. At this moment, Master Firmament was talking to a woman in the courtyard with a solemn expression on his face. Only her slim back could be seen. That woman nodded slightly in response. Xing Hui stood aside and did not want to disturb him. Firmament Master noticed his arrival and asked him to wait for a while before continuing his conversation with the woman. Xing Hui listened for a while and quickly understood what they were talking about. Master Xuanzhao is not in good condition right now. Esteemed Zhu Zhao is not in a good state at the moment. During this period, he has been thinking about capturing Remnant Sword alive and getting rid of him. If he gets a clue about Remnant Sword at this time, there must be something wrong. However, I can't get in touch with him and can't locate him. Therefore, we can only rely on you. The Remnant Sword's spiritual brand has been blocked, but it doesn't mean that it can't be detected at all. If we find Remnant Sword, we will most likely find Zhu Zhao. I hope you can find him as soon as possible, just in case. Besides you, I hope that if there is any problem, you can send a message to your senior sister first. Jianing is too far away, so we can only ask her to help us at the critical moment. I understand. I'll go over now. The woman nodded her head. Soon, the two of them finished their discussion. After the discussion, the woman turned around and looked at Xing Hui. She was dressed in white and had very simple accessories. In addition, she had long hair that reached her waist and cascaded down her shoulders. She had a poetic temperament. After nodding politely to Xing Hui, the woman had already used the power of the Firmament World's authority and disappeared without a trace. We are the sword bearers of the firmament. The Firmament Master said with a hint of exhaustion on his face. Sword wielder. Xing Hui carefully sensed the feeling the woman gave him. She doesn't seem to be in the divine realm. Yes, she is not at the divine stage. However, the way she grows makes it very likely that she will become the second candle illumination. Furthermore, you must not underestimate her. In certain aspects, she is not inferior to the divine. Xing Hui had a strange look on his face. A moment later, he seemed to have thought of something. Divine weapon. Yes, it's a divine weapon. Our Sky Dome's only 17th level divine weapon, the Sky Dome sword, is in her hands. She also volunteered to become our Sky Dome sword bearer because of this Sky Dome sword, level 17 divine weapon. If a celestial phenomenon or earth level expert had a level 17 divine weapon, it would be enough to tear apart the realm of an expert in the divine realm. After all, as far as he knew, in the 6 divine realms, except for the realm of forming a realm with thought. Although the gap between the other realms was huge, it was not as big as the gap between the Almighty and the Golden Elixir realm. But unlike the Golden Core realm, there seemed to be a gap between the Transcendent realm and the Golden Core realm in the cultivation world. In a first-rate chaos organization, the number of Golden Core realm experts could reach 4 digits, or even thousands, but the number of Almighty existences would usually only be 4 or 5. Almighties were already like this, let alone the celestial phenomenon of heaven and earth realm. You just mentioned esteemed candle illumination and the broken sword. Could it be that something happened to esteemed candle illumination? Candle illumination is too sentimental. This is his strength and also his weakness. Esteemed Heavenly Master shook his head and said, "This is not something you can interfere with, so don't ask too much." "Oh, yes, I've found out about Hidden Sword Venerable. He is related to the Black Flame sect of the 6 sects of Heaven region. One of his loved ones died at the hands of an enemy Almighty, and that Almighty joined the Black Flame sect and became the Pharaoh of the Black Flame sect. However, don't worry, that Almighty has yet to break through to the celestial phenomenon of heaven and earth realm. Given Hidden Sword Venerable's cultivation, if he can wait patiently, he might be able to kill him when he is out." "Is the enemy just an ordinary Almighty?" Ching Su nodded when he heard that. If it was just an ordinary Almighty, Hidden Sword Venerable would definitely be able to kill him. It was no wonder he said that he would only need 3 to 5 months to return. "I came here this time to inquire about the spatial crystal from the Venerable Master." "Spatial crystal?" Esteemed Heavenly Master was slightly taken aback by Tsing Hui's question. "Why do you want to know about this? This kind of thing is still far away from you and even us." Esteemed Heavenly Master obviously knew what the spatial crystal was. Tsing Hui immediately asked, "Esteemed Heavenly Master, please tell me. If you really want to know, there is no harm in telling you." Speaking of the spatial crystal, I have to mention the last realm of the divine realm, world creation with a thought. The difference between world creation with a thought and world creation with a thought is like the difference between an Almighty and a Golden Core cultivator. The difference is so great that it is difficult to measure. If a world creation with a thought does not fight with an Almighty, no matter how many 5th-level divine realm experts there are, they will not be able to do anything to him. World. Is it similar to a 10th-level personal space? Yes, and no. As the Firmament Master spoke, he glanced at his Firmament realm and continued, as the name suggests, the Firmament realm can create a personal world. The difference between the personal space of a Tier 10 celestial being and the world created by a Tier 10 celestial being is like the difference between a storage ring and a personal space. They cannot be compared at all. At most, our personal space is vast and can contain living things. However, for a Tier 10 celestial being, their world is almost equivalent to their energy core. Can you imagine how powerful that Tier 10 celestial being would be when a space with a diameter of tens of thousands of kilometers is filled with vast and vigorous Jin Yuan? A space with a diameter of over 10,000 kilometers is filled with true Yuan. When Tsing Hui heard esteemed Heavenly Master's words, he imagined it and felt a chill run down his spine. A true Yuan with a diameter of over 10,000 kilometers smashed down, the entire Tianhuang region would be smashed to pieces. World creation with a thought requires the creation of a world. If you want to construct a world, then there are 4 great difficulties. The first difficulty is the construction of space. This step is extremely simple to cultivators like us who possess a personal space because the structure of a 10th rank personal space is practically exactly the same as a world, and the only difference is that it can't be manifested. Thus, we can use our personal space as a foundation to construct space, and it's equivalent to drawing a picture. The second difficulty is the thing that defines the boundary, and the thing that defines the boundary is the spatial node that void interpretation stage experts often speak of. Esteemed Heavenly Master's gaze landed on Tsing Hui as he said this. You should have heard of the concept of spatial nodes, right? Yes. That's good. Now that we have the framework, the boundary defining item, and the boundary defining item, the next step is the third step, creating a world. If we want to create a real world from an illusory space, we need a carrier. This carrier is the spatial crystal. Spatial crystal. Is it the carrier used by experts who have achieved world creation with a thought to create a world? Yes. Since it is called a world, it naturally has the order and rules that a world should have. This is the fourth step, the evolution of rules. This step is actually similar to the first step. Since we have a 10th level personal space, we can still use it as a reference to deduce and create a world. The only downside is that such a world will be the same without any special features. In addition, for a world to function normally, it must have the sun rising, the moon setting, and the ice and snow alternating. Therefore, the size of the world cannot be too small. A void of 10,000 kilometers and a world of 100 kilometers is the minimum standard. Otherwise, a world that cannot function normally will gradually wither until it collapses. Just like the brilliant sun above our heads, if it does not operate according to the rules, it will fall one day and cause our entire world to be destroyed. Xing Hui nodded in agreement. The fourth level of the Saint Realm, only experts who have achieved the Saint True Body can use their physical body to travel through the void and gather void energy to condense spatial crystals. Moreover, spatial crystals are not indestructible and cannot be stored for long. Due to the disappearance of the Saint True Body experts in the divine wilderness, there are no longer any spatial crystals that have been passed down. Even the spatial crystals found in the immortal cave have probably disappeared under the passage of time, so if you want to buy them, you can only go through the Primal Chaos Treasure Pavilion. But before you buy, you must look carefully. Although Saint True Body experts can condense spatial crystals, these spatial crystals are of the worst quality and can only be stored for 8 to 10 years. Even if they are carefully condensed, they can only be stored for 20 to 30 years. It is fine to use them to activate formations, but if you want to use them to create a world, it is like tofu dregs. The spatial crystals of world creation with a thought experts are of better quality and can be stored for hundreds of years. However, such experts may not be willing to take out spatial crystals to sell. Therefore, the prices in the Primal Chaos Treasure Pavilion will be much higher. You must choose wisely. According to what you said, the items in the Chaos Treasure Pavilion are put up for sale? Xing Hui was slightly taken aback. According to the inference between the lines of the book, there are countless worlds in this vast void. Every world has a Chaos Divine Palace, and above the countless Chaos Divine Palaces, there is a great Chaos Dominator that rules everything. The Chaos Treasure Pavilion is related to the Chaos Divine Palace. The Dominator of the Chaos Divine Palace can sell his own items through the Chaos Divine Palace, and these items will flow to the Chaos Treasure Pavilion. Then, a special existence similar to a weapon spirit will distribute them to the various Chaos Treasure Pavilions below in a special pattern. Speaking of this, the Sky Master's face became slightly gloomy. According to the information I obtained from the ancient times, in the vast universe, the worlds are extremely far away from each other, and it is difficult to locate them. It is like a dark place, and no one knows where they are or where they are. In the absence of a special formation similar to the space transmission formation, it is extremely difficult for one world to attack another world. The price is extremely high, and it often takes thousands or even tens of thousands of years in the vast starry sky. Thousands of years, tens of thousands of years. Xing Hui took a deep breath. Experts of the Golden Elixir Realm can only live for 3,000 years at most, right? Golden Elixir Realm, the Sky Master smiled. How long can a divine beast live? How long can a divine beast live? Divine beast. Divine beast, Xing Hui thought for a moment. Divine beasts, as long as they don't die prematurely, can live for 10,000 years, and divine beasts can live for up to 100,000 years. Master, you mean, the fourth level of the divine realm, the divine real body, cultivators can transform into divine beasts and divine beasts. Their lifespan is the same as that of divine beasts and divine beasts. Chapter 562. Equal to sacred beasts and divine beasts, 10,000 years of lifespan. Xing Hui was shocked. Life could actually have such a long lifespan. That's nothing. The most amazing thing is world creation with a thought. Those who create a world creation with a thought will shine as brightly as the world. As long as the world doesn't die, their lifespan will never decline. Their lifespan is as short as an instant, and as long as it is, eternal life. When Venerable Master Firmament said this, he sighed from the bottom of his heart. World creation with a thought, that's a whole new world. World creation with a thought, Qing Su could not help but feel a sense of longing towards this realm of cultivation. The Lord of the Chaos Temple is able to interfere with the Chaos Treasure Pavilion, but I do not know how. It might be through taxes, increasing, decreasing, or affecting the types of items in the Chaos Treasure Pavilion, but it is said that the Lord of the Chaos Temple of the other worlds can judge the cultivation level of the surrounding worlds through the fluctuation of prices and items in the Chaos Treasure Pavilion. Back then, because our divine wilderness produced too much Tao rhythm and was rich, it attracted the surrounding worlds to travel thousands of miles across the vast void to attack our divine wilderness. However, our divine wilderness is not weak, and after one battle, the enemy was annihilated. Unfortunately, it was not just one world that attacked our divine wilderness. When the other worlds saw how tyrannical our divine wilderness was, they gave up an item that contained thousands of Tao rhythms and placed it in the divine wilderness, causing a civil war in the divine wilderness that resulted in countless casualties. At that moment, the other world took advantage of the situation and finally broke through the divine wilderness, causing the divine wilderness to suffer great losses. At the moment of life and death, everyone in the divine wilderness worked together to fight against the invaders, but after that, the divine wilderness suffered irreparable damage and has not recovered since. When Xing Hui heard Venerable Master Firmament's words and connected it to the information from Venerable Xian Bing, he immediately understood. The first to attack our divine wilderness was the Chaos Organization, Eternity. The second was Heavenly Tao. The Master in the sky glanced at Qing Su and seemed rather surprised. In the end, he nodded, that's right, that's indeed the case. Eternity is formed from the experts of the first world, while behind the heavenly ways stands the second world that invaded our divine wilderness. Then the divine wilderness was formed by our native forces to resist? That's right. Since many organizations of chaos know about this, why are they still watching helplessly as Tian Dao and Eternal strut around my divine wilderness world? The Firmament Master glanced at Xing Hui with a hint of sorrow in his eyes. The world is different now. The world is different. The divine wilderness has already been shattered, and as you can see, the current environment of the divine wilderness is simply unable to give birth to any heaven and earth spiritual treasures. This world is already going downhill, like a balloon that has been punctured. The situation will only get worse and worse. At present, the divine wilderness can still give birth to Saint Realm experts, but in 10,000 years, the strongest expert might be reduced to the true energy boundary. In another 10,000 years, it will be a question whether or not someone can awaken. In such a world, one cannot see the future, cannot see the future. If one stays here for a long time, it is simply waiting for death. How can those high and mighty almighty experts be willing to accept such an outcome? They chose to offer up the divine wilderness in exchange for the qualifications to enter the eternal realm or the world behind the heavenly Tao. Firmament Master nodded with a solemn expression. To think that this would be the result. However, he did not find it strange that those almighties would have such a mentality. To stay in the divine wilderness, the saint realm was the limit. However, if they could enter the eternal realm or the world behind the heavenly Tao, they could continue to break through and step into the divine true body realm with a lifespan of 10,000 years. They could step into the immortal realm with a single thought. To survive, to climb higher, this was the instinct of humans. At this moment, Xing Hui finally understood why so many sects were controlled by the heavenly Tao and the eternal realm, and even secretly infiltrated. Can't we join forces with the divine wilderness to fight against the heavenly Tao and the eternal realm? It's useless. The philosophy of the divine wilderness is different from ours. After they claim to be the saviors of the world, they point fingers at everyone in the divine wilderness world. They believe that they are the saviors of the divine wilderness world and that everyone should follow their orders. They are the true masters of this world. Firmament Master shook his head slightly. When you come into contact with the divine wilderness, you will know. When the time comes, you will definitely not choose to join the divine wilderness camp. Xing Hui nodded and did not say anything. If the divine wilderness really wanted to order him around like Firmament Master said, he would probably just turn around and leave. Although you are now in the top echelon of our firmament realm, it is still too early to talk about this with you. It won't be too late to talk about this when you become an almighty. Master, do we have void crystals in our firmament realm? I urgently need them. Void crystals. I have seen them before, but there is no point in buying them. Therefore, even if the Chaos Temple appears, no one will buy them. If you really want them, go and buy them. It's best if the price is higher. I remember that void crystals cost 10 Dao rhymes per piece in the Chaos Treasure Pavilion. If you ask for 12 Dao rhymes, there should be people who will buy them and resell them. Firmament Master laughed self-deprecatingly. I remember that there are records in some books that a few thousand years ago, void crystals cost more than 100 Dao rhymes and were in short supply. Now, it has dropped to 10 Dao rhymes per piece. Of course, this could also be due to the influence of other Chaos Temple Masters. They are using void crystals to test if there are any world creation experts in the divine wilderness, as well as the number of world creation experts. After all, although world creation experts can condense void crystals, if they want to make their world grow, they can't just rely on themselves to condense void crystals. They can't even maintain the normal internal wear and tear of their world. Xing Hui nodded. The price of void crystals was not high. At the same time, he felt that the world creation realm was a little strange. From the looks of it, although world creation experts were powerful, it was not as easy as he had imagined. Worlds were formed by large amounts of void crystals, and void crystals would dissipate after a few decades or even 100 years. Cultivators had to repair them at any time. If the repair speed could not keep up with the speed of the void crystals, then the world creation expert would die. In addition, in a battle, the world creation expert's world was the strongest weapon. In a battle of life and death, it was unavoidable to be injured. If one was not careful, it would bring about the fate of death. It seemed that the strength of a world creation expert would not only depend on the size of their world, but also the amount of void crystals they had. As long as they had enough void crystals, who would be afraid of them if they used their world? I am not in a hurry to obtain the void crystals. Thank you for informing me. Xing Hui said. It's a small matter. Firmament Master waved his hand. Xing Hui bid farewell and turned to leave. If he wanted to activate the Transfer Divine Array, void crystals were one of the factors. Another factor was his cultivation. Second level Saint Realm, Void Transformation Realm. Only Void Transformation Realm experts could activate the Transfer Divine Array. Otherwise, it would be meaningless no matter how many void crystals he had. Void Transformation Realm. Where should I find a Void Transformation Realm expert to activate the Transfer Divine Array for me? Shaking his head, Xing Hui could only put this matter aside for the time being. Xikong Ming still needed 3 to 5 months to settle the matter. It would not be too late for him to think of a way during this time. Xing Hui left the firmament world and returned to his room on the Fortune mainland. Not long after, a core formation realm netherworld sect Grand Elder led a group of people forward and respectfully handed a box to Xing Hui. He said respectfully, Lord Dongyang, this box contains all the immortal techniques that our netherworld sect has collected over the years. Very good. Your netherworld sect's immortal technique, Instant Blooming Flower, is also here. It is in the middle of the immortal technique. Very good. Xing Hui was somewhat interested in the Instant Blooming Flower. The Instant Blooming Flower was a strange and evil technique. It could transform into a 7-colored flower that devoured the cultivator's blood, essence, and spirit. Finally, it would condense into a Dao fruit. The cultivator who refined this Tao fruit could extend their lifespan and increase their cultivation. Because of this immortal technique, the Netherworld sect was suppressed by the other 5 supreme sections. It was to the extent that the Netherworld sect was at the bottom of the 6 supreme sections. I heard that your Netherworld sect had 2 ancestors who cultivated the instant blooming flower to the major completion stage. Do you have any records of their cultivation experience? The Netherworld sect's core formation Great Elder had an awkward expression on his face. In fact, our Netherworld sect was being pressured by the other 5 supreme sections. In order to avoid heavy losses, we announced to the public that a senior had cultivated the blossoming flower to great mastery in an instant to intimidate them. But in reality, the number of people in our Netherworld sect who had cultivated such a difficult immortal art to minor mastery can be counted on one hand, let alone great mastery. The Netherworld sect's core formation Great Elder had an awkward expression on his face. Oh. Have you brought the records of cultivation experience? Yes. Since Lord Dongyang specifically mentioned it, our Netherworld sect naturally wouldn't dare disobey. Please take a look, Lord Dongyang. The core formation realm elder hurriedly took out the 3 manuscripts from the ancient records. They were the cultivation experiences of the 3 Netherworld sect cultivators who'd cultivated the instant blooming flower to the minor completion stage. Alright, I've received them. You may all leave. Yes, Elder Dongyang. If there's anything else you need, feel free to instruct us. Apart from the Purple Cloud Palace, the Netherworld sect had suffered the heaviest losses out of all the sects that had participated in the encirclement. It could be said that Qing Su had completely intimidated them with a single strike, so the entire Netherworld sect paid more attention to Qing Su's orders than anyone else. Instant blooming flower. Xing Hui took out the supreme immortal technique and carefully comprehended it. An hour later, he put down the record of the supreme immortal technique with a hint of surprise flashing across his face. This immortal technique is much more sinister than I imagined. It transforms into a 7-colored flower that devours the cultivator's essence, qi, and spirit and condenses it into a Tao fruit. The Tao fruit condensed from the entry stage of the instant blooming flower can only prolong one's lifespan, while the minor completion stage of the instant blooming flower can increase one's cultivation. Then, how powerful is the instant blooming flower at the major completion stage? With that thought in mind, Xing Hui couldn't help but flip through the cultivation experiences of the 3 Netherworld sect cultivators who'd cultivated the instant blooming flower to the minor completion stage. A moment later, the cultivation experience of one of the Netherworld sect cultivators caught his attention, using the supreme immortal technique to condense the instant blooming flower to the instant blooming flower, refining and cultivating, stepping into the golden core realm from the never-ending realm in 30 years, and condensing a superior grade golden core in 100 years. Chapter 563. Using a supreme immortal technique to condense a Tao fruit, refine it, and cultivate it. Entering the golden core realm from the never-ending realm in 30 years, and condensing a superior grade golden core in 100 years. Xing Hui's eyes narrowed at the news. In the end, the golden core realm cultivator suffered the same fate as the Netherworld sect when it was at its peak. The furious Sanqing sect, the Great Sun Divine Palace, and the Taisher sect joined forces to break through the mountain range. The cultivator died in battle at a young age, condensing a superior grade golden core in 100 years. At this rate, he would be able to condense a supreme golden core in a few hundred years and develop a divine ability. This immortal technique has such an ability. Yes, it can devour a cultivator's essence and condense it into a Tao fruit, and refine it to increase one's cultivation. Xing Hui took a deep breath. The efficiency of this growth was very obvious. If I want to cultivate the supreme golden core to perfection and develop a divine ability, I will need at least 2 or 3 Tao treasures. Even if I kill a rich almighty like the Black Ice Saint, I will need at least 2 or 3 Tao treasures. And if I really kill 2 or 3 Tao Masters' sons and provoke 4 or 5 Saint Realm cultivators to come after me, I will definitely die. Even Tianqiong won't be able to save me. Xing Hui's gaze fell on the supreme immortal technique, blooming flower. It was impossible to obtain thousands of Taoist rhymes in a short time, but he urgently needed to develop a divine ability as soon as possible. Then, blooming flower was undoubtedly the best way to use this supreme immortal technique to refine a Tao fruit and cultivate. That senior from the Netherworld's sect had only cultivated the blooming flower to initial success. Furthermore, most of the cultivators he had killed were only at the true energy realm or the transcendent realm. There were only a handful of undying realm cultivators. Under such circumstances, he had still managed to cultivate a superior grade golden core in 100 years. If he could cultivate the blooming flower to perfection and participate in a battle at the golden core realm, the efficiency would be, time waits for no one. Xing Hui said slowly. The instant blooming flower is the most evil celestial art. But, so what if it's evil? The 10-year deadline has already passed. How long do I have to wait? Another 10 years? Or perhaps, 10 decades, or 100 decades? By then, what will Earth be like? My friends from the Eastern Sun Sword sect, senior sister Jiang, my parents and friends. How will they be alive? Xing Hui clenched his fists. Blooming flower. This was his only hope. In the next moment, he focused his attention on the creation divine jade. There was only 48 Taoist rhymes of 24 days. Now, he could replenish Taoist rhymes of chaos realm once a month realm level chaos level. Once a day, it was too complicated. 48 Tao rhymes of, without hesitation. Blooming flower blooming flowers flower blooming blooming art blossoming fruit blooming blossom blooming. The integrated fortune divine jade was much more effective than the half-completed fortune divine jade on the fortune mainland. However, blooming flower was not an ordinary immortal technique. Perhaps it was because Qing Su was not compatible with this supreme immortal technique, but after he used up all the treasures he had accumulated in the fortune jade for 20 years, he had only barely comprehended the basics of the immortal technique. As a matter of fact, it was rather difficult for him to use the immortal technique. The failure rate was extremely high. After all, even when he practiced the 3 purities with the 1 qi, which was also known as one of the 3 most difficult immortal techniques to cultivate, Qing Su was not as bad as this. It seems like the I Qi turning 3 pure ones is the most compatible immortal technique among the 3. Could it be because of the word Qing in their names? Xing Hui had barely comprehended the blooming flower blooming flower blooming flower blooming flower. If he wanted to use it, he would need to use 1/10 of his essence, qi, and soul. At this moment, Sect Master Heartcliff's voice came from outside the door. Grand Elder, the Purple Firmament Palace's Palace Master, Taoist Myriad Treasures, has brought the Go family's patriarch, Go Pa, and disciple, Go Chen, to apologize. They are currently waiting outside. Go family, Go Chen, Xing Hui's eyes flashed. Very good. They came at the right time. Xing Hui immediately stood up and appeared outside the door in a flash. Under Heartcliff's respectful guidance, he quickly arrived outside the courtyard. Outside the courtyard, the Palace Master of the Purple Firmament Palace's Palace Master, Taoist Myriad Treasures, and a few other elders stood respectfully. When they saw Xing Hui, they quickly bowed. Greetings, Lord Dongyang. In front of him was the Go family's patriarch, Go Pa, and Go Chen, who had offended Xing Hui before. Although the Go family was powerful in the Purple Firmament Palace, their most powerful overlords were only at the Transcendent State. Otherwise, they would not have joined Xiang Jun's side. It was a good deal to hand over an elder and a talented disciple to appease Xing Hui. These are the people from the Go family who dared to offend you, Lord Dongyang. Now, we will hand them over to Lord Dongyang. Taoist Myriad Treasures threw the 2 people to the ground without hesitation. Very well. Xing Hui did not pay much attention to the Palace Master of the Purple Firmament Palace. Instead, he turned his attention to Go Pa, who was at the Transcendent State, and Go Chen, who was at the True Energy State. The 2 immediately begged for mercy. Spare our lives, Elder Dongyang. Spare our lives, Elder Dongyang. I have already ordered the execution of Go Yu's family. Go Chen, on the other hand, felt as if he was in a dream. Dong Yang, the disciple of the Purple Firmament Palace in front of him, who dared not speak up under their oppression a few years ago, had now climbed over his head and had the ability to decide his life and death with a single word. Such a huge change and blow made him feel as if he was living in a dream. Since you have made a mistake, you should be punished. Xing Hui, who had not made good progress in cultivating the blooming flower, looked at the two people in front of him and immediately performed the immature blooming flower on Go Pa. In an instant, a seven-colored flower appeared in the void and directly penetrated Go Po's body under his horrified gaze. Blooming flower, blooming flower, blooming flower, blooming flower, is this the supreme evil blooming flower? No. No. Go Pa immediately screamed in a shrill voice. On the other hand, Spiritual Master Duo Bao and the others from the Purple Firmament Palace trembled in their hearts as they watched, but they kept quiet out of fear and did not dare to say a word. Unfortunately, Xing Hui's blooming flower was obviously half-baked. The seven-colored flower penetrated Go Po's body and immediately pulled his essence, energy, and spirit to condense a fruit of Tao. Unfortunately, the pulling force was extremely weak. In addition, Go Pa resisted fiercely, and in the end, the rainbow-colored flower that had been formed gradually collapsed. He had failed. I don't believe it. A cold light flashed in Xing Hui's eyes. Although the blooming flower required 1/10 of his spiritual energy as a primer, he had a 10th-order recovery characteristic, so the recovery effect was extremely fast. Although he had lost a lot of his spiritual energy, it would not take long for him to completely recover. In the next moment, a brilliant sword light suddenly appeared in his spiritual world. It carried the power to burn one's soul and fiercely shone into Go Po's spiritual world. There were clearly no flames, but the blazing sword intent still made him scream as if he was being burned by fire. It was extremely miserable. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Xing Hui performed the blooming flower again. Then, he failed again. Although Go Pa kept screaming under Xing Hui's sword intent and his spiritual world was about to collapse, in terms of vitality and vital energy fluctuations, he was actually above Xing Hui. For a moment, Taoist Master of Many Treasures and the other experts of the Purple Cloud Palace looked at each other with a strange expression. They wanted to laugh but did not dare to. Phew. Xing Hui exhaled slightly and withdrew his sword intent. Go Pa immediately panted violently as if he had been fished out of the water. Lord Dong Yang, whoosh. Go Pa really wanted to beg for mercy again, but Xing Hui shot out a beam of sword chi and instantly pierced Go Po's forehead between his eyebrows. His next words came to an abrupt halt. Kill. This would obviously increase the efficiency by a notch. Ah! With Go Po's death, Gao Chen seemed to have suddenly awakened. He screamed and quickly jumped up. No! No! I can't die. I can't die. I'm a peerless genius of the Purple Cloud Palace. I'll rule the Purple Cloud Palace in the future and become a supreme existence. I can't die here. No. Xing Hui glanced at Gao Chen, then drew out 1/10 of his essence, vital energy, and spirit, and shot out a flower. This time, it was surprisingly smooth. Ah! As Gao Chen screamed miserably, his essence, vital energy, and spirit were all sucked out by the seven-colored flower. With an endless supply of energy, the seven-colored flower finally bloomed completely, emitting beautiful colors. When the flower finished blooming, a fruit about the size of an orange condensed from energy appeared in the center of the flower and gradually fell to the ground. As for Gao Chen, as his essence, vital energy, and spirit were completely sucked out, he turned into ashes and dissipated on the spot like a dried corpse that had been weathered for many years. When Taoist Master of Many Treasures and the others saw this scene, their hearts trembled. Even though it was not their first time witnessing the netherworld sex flower bloom, they still felt a chill run down their spines. This is the fruit of Tao. Xing Hui held the glowing orange-sized fruit of Tao in his hand. Then, He channeled his vital energy into the fruit of Tao and absorbed all the energy within it, refining it into his body. As he refined the fruit of Tao, Xinghui gradually understood the effects of the fruit of Tao on his body. It nourished his body and increased his vitality slightly. In terms of lifespan, it increased his lifespan by about 3 years. The essence, vital energy, and spirit of a true energy realm expert could only increase his lifespan by 13 years. Xinghui could not help but feel a little disappointed at this number. This genius that you've carefully cultivated doesn't look like much. Apart from the user, the target's willpower and the degree of control he has over his own essence, qi, and spirit will also affect the final success rate of the flower blooming. Although this genius cultivated by your Purple Cloud Palace is in the realm of true energy, his degree of control over his own true energy is average, and his willpower is also not worth mentioning. In addition, the quality of the fruit he condensed is also quite ordinary. I remember that there are records in the Netherworld sect that the fruit condensed by a realm of true energy can prolong one's life by 1 to 10 years, but this fruit only has the effect of extending one's life by 3 years. When Taoist Master of Many Treasures heard Xinghui's words, he did not know how to respond. You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.